Crossover.
Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Matt, Josh, welcome.
Hey. Thank you. Means a lot.
How y'all doing today?
Doing good. How are you doing after Bobby's night?
Very good.
Okay.
Very good. Shaver keeps telling me that he won't win the MVP, and I keep telling him that he will. He doesn't believe me. He says, they'll just vote for Aaron Judge again.
I mean, he's going to have to, do something more than what Aaron Judge has done.
You mean
totally correct.
Play in games that Aaron Judge will inevitably have to sit out because his body is massive?
Yeah, I mean, how many games did he miss last year?
I don't know.
Not very many,
not enough.
Yeah. So if he plays 140 games, it's not going to be a big difference.
35 home runs, 100-plus RBIs. Royals make the playoffs. He's the MVP.
Itty bitty baby Ken Rosenthal was interviewing Aaron Judge yesterday.
Just like that.
He's a tiny baby.
He's a tiny baby boy, and
what was his bow tie?
Oh, it was obnoxious. I mean, it was bigger than the width of his neck.
Careful.
It was ridiculous.
It's always for charity.
I don't care what it's for.
I think Matt knew it and still went for
He's
that.
a clown. I don't care
He's a
that
clown.
he is a clown.
Why do you think Ken Rosenthal's a clown?
People are starting to be more vocally anti-Rosenthal.
Yeah.
These
Why?
days.
Yeah.
I think Matt is going with the wave on
It
this.
is.
Look, I think in terms of his writing and his investigative reporting and what he's contributed to in terms of his work to baseball, I respect that. I respect what he's done.
I respect that.
I respect his work.
Hearing him
But
more and
just as
You respect him respecting that?
I respect that. That's just my line from when I was at
White Castle.
that one time.
Yeah. Okay, I love White Castle.
I was hammered at
White Castle.
Track.
I was hammered at White Castle, and they were trying to kick me
By
out.
the way, I love it when I make a statement that most people would find weird, and your line has been that tracks. That checks out. I believe that.
You seem like a guy who likes White Castle.
Yeah.
You really do.
Two double cheeseburgers, one single cheeseburger, onion chips, and a large Coke.
Yeah, that sounds
It's just-
exactly like what you would order.
God,
Onion
it's so
chips.
Yeah. Oh, you got to get the onion
Sounds
chips.
like, can I have a halitosis on line 4?
What's an halitosis?
Halitosis is when you have
Is that the
horrible
leader
breath.
is that the leader of Iran? The halitosis?
No.
Careful.
Yeah, it is not.
Okay.
Different thing.
What? Halitosis sounds like the pill version of Pepto-Bismol.
Halitosis is when you have bad breath.
Okay. I don't have bad breath. I've never had
You
bad
would
breath.
after eating onion chips and 3 hamburgers.
It's not
you
hamburgers.
Sicko.
They're sliders. They're White Castle sliders.
Yeah.
You call them correctly.
Yeah.
Okay. They use the steam of the onions and the meat to make sure the bun is moist.
Yeah, the breath that's going to be horrific.
Yeah.
Nothing helps with the fact that it tastes like eating trash.
Well, it doesn't taste like eating trash.
White Castle.
The
It's
pickle-
fine if you're hammered, which I was.
See, that's when I would like. I haven't had it hammered. I think
I
it would
only
be
had
good
it
if I was
straight-
hammered.
I'm only sober, and it was terrible.
I've never had it hammered. I've only had it stone cold sober, and it's delicious. The pickle of the nice little pickle on the burger, and it gives
Really
that
does.
nice sweetness acidity. Oof.
Sweetness acidity.
I know it's sweet and it's acidic. It's perfect.
I feel
God.
like you're just saying things.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you. I actually bought frozen White Castle sliders in college. They had them at
Those are
Those
even
are probably
worse.
better.
Those are
They're
at
not
the,
made there.
at the Herbie markets at those
in the
little.
environment that smells like urine.
I didn't know. By the way, like
I dropped a beer bottle in there, but it didn't break.
It probably helped the aesthetics of the place.
They were trying to kick me out. And I said, I respect that, which is what you do to Ken Rosenthal.
I do. I think he's a fine writer and a good contributor towards
I can't
baseball.
believe people think he's a clown.
He
now.
is a clown. He's a total little tiny clown.
People think he's a clown. Ever since he ran over that guy.
Yes. And he
and-
looked at him like the guy did something wrong. And he's that
I
type,
vaguely remember this.
he's that quintessential
That's
kind
it.
of
The internet hates him now.
he's the quintessential sports writer or the quintessential MLB writer that just makes me roll my eyes so hard because he thinks he's all high and mighty and important to
No,
the
I don't
integrity
disagree
of
with you.
baseball. And like he's just like, I don't know, just takes himself and takes the game way too seriously. And then he ran that guy over and looked like the biggest. And then he apologized, and it was the most BS apology ever. He was like, "We were on live TV, people. We're on national television."
No, I know. Yeah. He seems like kind of a jerk. Yeah.
As a clown.
I don't know about a clown, but it seems like kind of a jerk.
But anyway,
Man.
itty bitty baby Rosenthal was interviewing very tall man Aaron Judge.
Pretty funny.
And Judge was standing
Tiny guy,
there
big guy.
next to your guy Witt,
Uh-huh.
and it was Witt and Aaron, and I got like flashbacks to when like we would go to hockey rinks and we would be playing really good teams and you would see them from like across the rink and you were looking at like the guys on the team. You're like, those guys are studs. You're like, we're screwed. Like I can just tell just looking at them.
That's what people will say when they play the Kansas City Royals this year.
I look at
they say we're host.
I look at Witt and Judge.
How are we going to get any hits? That guy's diving all over the place.
I can't tell if like I need them to play well so you're not despondent about things in baseball season.
No, the same thing will still happen. They will go 6-24 in April. My hope will be killed. And then they won't make their way back until August when I'll get a mild amount of hope around September 14th.
My God, if they get hot.
Yeah.
And then I'll be excited.
They got it. They got to go like.
Meanwhile, Nebraska football will lose to Bowling Green.
Oh, I was going to say, meanwhile, Cleveland will just hover around 500 and then have a 15-game winning streak in September to make the playoffs, lose in the first round, and not spend any money in the off.
I was going to say, like, it would come down to the Kansas City Royals. Like, well, last 16 games, like, Minnesota isn't playing well for the last wild card spot. If we go 11-5. And
it won't be Minnesota. I'll tell you that much.
Holy
crap.
Are they really going to be really bad this year?
Yeah. Really bad.
They should be contracted.
I got to do my this weekend.
Bring up the St. Paul Saints.
This weekend, I have to do my future studying. I got to study my future. I got a Matt McFutures. Has to
you
make
got a few weeks.
Bets. I know. Next weekend and the weekend after.
Like the 25th, I think, is the start of the season.
It's when I gotta. You make a lot of money on the baseball. Futures.
You're not using the World Baseball Classic as your future study?
No, absolutely. Okay. I barely watched the game yesterday.
What do you do for future study?
I just read a bunch of articles and see who people are betting on.
You could watch the games.
No, I'm not gonna watch the games.
You're not grinding spring training tape?
Study, you're just reading other people's work and then determining which of their work most agrees with your preconceived biases.
1,000,000%.
Okay.
But it works.
What about
your system is the same as literally everyone.
Yeah, it works.
What about any like stats? Stuff like that, like projections.
Do you have any proprietary stats?
Probably whip. Just whoever has the lowest whip. That's who I'll bet on.
Whatever player has the lowest whip, you're going to bet on their team to win the division.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
To be clear, whip is a stat that's been around for a long time.
Listen, guys,
boys.
My future study is literally I'm just going to read what everybody else is betting and then figure out who's most aligned.
What I'm telling you, Matt,
make most
is
sense.
There's like a lot of projection models now.
Yeah,
Pacoda's existed for a long time, but Pacoda.
Fangraphs.
There's the Fangraphs.
You're doing well.
The steamer. Yeah,
probably, OPS plus.
Like you could actually,
that's a stat,
you know what you could do? You could look at that's just a stat, not a projection. You could look at the standings.
It's a good stat.
And
I'm proud of you for knowing.
Then you could like click on the team and they have like player projections for all of those.
Yeah, that's on Baseball Reference. They have that.
They have it for almost everything.
So I'll do that. Like my baseball futures my football futures. I buy that big.
You
book.
could just say they're vibes.
I know. I do research though on my baseball futures.
You read what other people are having takes about.
Yes,
and then determine whether you agree with the take or not.
Yes,
I did research last night, and I found out that relief pitcher on the Cubs, Boyd, he sucks.
He's pretty.
He's not a relief pitcher.
He's
so
not.
Your research would have.
He pitched in relief last night.
Well, yes,
he did pitch in relief last night.
I didn't care for him.
It's a world baseball class.
Look, I'm a guy. I'm not a baseball guy per se, but I don't
want Happer and I to give you a bunch of opinions, and then you can go.
Oh yeah,
that's what we did for Josh Peterson last year.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
but I'm not like Josh, or I'm bad at baseball. Like I know.
No, he just needed
baseball.
Takes, and we gave them to him.
I'm really
I like
just
the idea of bad at baseball, not like as in a skill to play or anything, just bad at understanding all of it.
Like amongst a casual sport fan, like I know a good amount about baseball, but like amongst people like you two who love baseball, like you guys kind of look down on me.
But it appears as if you're looking for takes.
I'm just looking for bets.
I'm definitely not looking down on you.
I'm looking for bets.
I'm just drilling in on when you say research and study. I just want to point out that it's just you don't even have to research or study. You're going to go with where your gut was to begin.
Right.
But I don't even have.
I'm trying to just cut out.
I'm going to be real with you. I don't even have a gut yet. I couldn't tell you.
We can give you a gut.
Yeah, we'll gut it for you.
All I know, I don't know my ass or my elbow currently right now when it comes to the MLB. I have no idea who's going to be good or who's going to be. I've done zero
I think
reading
the Dodgers
or anything.
might be good.
I would
Like, are the Braves
consider that.
going to have a good year?
A lot of
They're
rotation
having a
injuries.
horrendous offseason.
Okay. See, I don't know any of that. I have this is
Everyone
why.
has gotten hurt in unique.
That's
and
why
fun
we're
ways.
telling you we're basically
Okay.
we're the blogs for you.
All right. Who's the sleeper of the season? If you will?
Sleepers.
Team.
Yeah. You got a sleeper of the season? You got somebody who it's like, I want to
Coming from the depths.
I want to drop a text in a group chat and be like, hey, look out for this team.
Okay.
You know, and then if that team ends up playing, we'll be like, oh my God, Matt called it.
Last year, my version of that team was the Reds,
And they
and
got the last.
they
playoff
ended up
spot.
making the
Yep.
playoffs.
Okay.
I've
Okay.
Googled sleeper teams.
Can we stay same division? Could I convince anybody that the Pittsburgh Pirates will be halfway decent this
That's
year?
one of
But
them that Google has come up with.
I don't want to. I don't want to do that.
Because he doesn't want to bet in the NL Central.
They're not.
Okay.
okay.
So a
yeah.
non-NL
that makes
Central
sense, though.
deep
Yeah.
sleeper.
I'll give you.
The
Now,
Pirates are going to be terrible. I
here's
don't
the
know if
thing.
you know the Pirates are going to be off.
This can absolutely not go well, and there's a variety of reasons why it could not go well. But when you were looking for sort of the sleeper team, you kind of need it to hit on a few different things. You need them to have some players that might be on the rise.
Yes.
You need it to be a
Brandon
division that's winnable, which
NL
means
Central.
it can't be the NL West.
Not winnable. The Central's not winnable. There's one team that will control the Central.
I'm going to give you a team. We'll see how Happer feels about it. You could look at their win total and go over on this. You could look at betting to make the playoffs, and it's going to be a decent plus money. I think you should look at the Sacramento A's.
Knew you were going to say that.
That's
That
one of
was
the sleepers on this Google.
That was the sleeper
list.
team last year.
That was for me as well. And then they played really well at the start.
They did.
And then
They were very
stunk.
competitive for a while.
Do they got Brent Rooker? Is he still on that team?
Brent Rooker's
They
still on the
do.
team.
Nice.
Can you name any other A's?
There's one that
Careful.
What? How would I? Why
That's the one that you were referencing, right?
is Marcus Simeon still on?
No,
the
Did
A's?
he
He
move?
hasn't been there for a while.
Who's that one guy?
Oh wow. Okay.
he's
Yeah.
the-
Be careful.
He's the Italian guy, and he got kind of mad at the. I don't know if he's Italian or not. He got mad at somebody.
Hey,
with
just
his
because
Cowboy
he's mad doesn't
breakdown.
mean he's Italian.
Yeah, that's a bad stereotype.
I'm offended by this.
Who got mad in Italian?
I don't know. It was a John Boy breakdown. He got hit. Francisco Liriano. Francisco Liriano.
Francisco Liriano has been a pitcher who's been retired for a
Oh,
long time.
okay.
Yeah.
Francisco Lindor plays for the Mets.
I don't know.
Francisco Cervelli has also been a player who's been
Well,
retired
he's
for
the
a long time.
Italian. He's the Italian
is.
manager,
He is.
and he was a catcher for the Pirates.
He
for
was.
the,
The
Pirates.
Yankees, several teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came out to it's when a moon it's the pine like a good one. No, I don't know.
I'm not sure
any-
what you're referencing.
I don't know any other
Other
Oakland
A's
A's.
that might be worth knowing. They have a first baseman that was phenomenal.
Matt
as a
Olson?
rookie last year. No,
Nope,
careful.
He's with the Braves for a while.
That's right.
Nick Kurtz.
There you
Yes.
go. You got it.
You do have to be careful.
Yes, I have to be careful.
Now you're thinking about it. That's the problem.
So
He was
okay.
in the College World Series.
I don't know any other A. I don't.
Jacob Wilson is their shortstop. He's
Cool.
good.
Yeah,
he
people
did-
made fun of
doesn't he
him a
have-
lot.
Wasn't his dad was a
Jack Wilson.
Jackals?
Yeah.
People made fun of Jacob Wilson a lot because he didn't do the stuff that normal baseball players do now,
Which is like chew tobacco and be disgusting.
no, not that kind of stuff. I'm talking
Okay.
about like walk and strike out a lot.
Oh,
He just only gets hits.
Yeah.
what a loser!
I know.
Oh my God.
It's
Are
kind
you
of
kidding?
weird.
He's very much
Yeah.
a throwback.
Oh my God! That guy hits the ball into the field. What an idiot!
There is like this whole counterculture against Luis Ariz, who doesn't do any of
He
that
doesn't do
stuff.
anything.
Yeah.
He just gets
I'm,
hits.
hits
I'm going to be
singles.
real with you. Moneyball and the whole like valuing of on base percentage plus slugging and like the valuation of those numbers used
That's
to be
OPS plus.
that used to be cool. Now it's just annoying.
I know like
Now
half
I
a
just-
dozen members of the A's roster here.
So, would you
They're
create?
an interesting team.
Would you create like an anti-analytical
I
team
would
just
love
for the bit?
I would love to
Joey
make a
Gallo,
team.
but he's loved by the
Yeah.
analytics.
yeah, I
but
know.
also
No,
hated.
it's not Joey Gallo.
I would love to make nine. I would let my ideal lineup is 9 Johnny Damons. I would love to have just 9 guys who are Johnny Damon at their position. They all hit 280, OBP 330. They steal a bunch of bases and they're good at defense.
I don't
Okay.
know if you're going to be right on any of those stats, by the way.
Okay.
I don't think I am either.
So
But you get the point.
I
You're
do
looking
get the
for defensive studs who defy analytics by
They don't get on base and they don't hit home runs,
Yeah,
but
right.
they play great defense.
like their average is almost equally as high as their on base percentage.
I want to have the highest ground ball rate team in the MLB.
Well, you got to have a rise and you got to have Nick Kurtz for sure.
Okay.
How about we get you like
Nico Horner? Can I
How about we
Nico?
get you like a 2015 Eric Hosmer?
Love it.
You know, just hitting the
Lot of
ball on
ground
the
balls.
ground. You
Yeah.
know?
But he would walk, though.
He would walk occasionally. He was a pretty decent on base guy, sadly.
Can
for
I have?
you.
Can I have?
Like, that's what
Yeah.
Yandy Diaz
Yeah.
famously pounds the ball into the ground like 9 out of 10 times.
Can I have
At
Nick
115
Madrigal
miles an
as
hour.
one of my platoon players, please?
Nobody else wants it.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Take him.
I'd love to.
Are you
have him.
interested in Randy Arozarena?
I think that'd be great. I would love to.
He
have
would
Randy
be on
my
this
team.
team.
Yeah. There you go. You got it.
Aroldis Garcia can be your
Adolis.
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 Yeah.
Adolis Garcia can be your right fielder.
Can I get like old Adrian Gonzalez who doesn't hit home runs anymore?
I mean, he can be your bench coach.
That'd be great.
Wait, so old? You want to take the best part of Adrian Gonzalez away?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I
Interesting.
want. I want
Interesting.
that guy.
Interesting.
He's going to be great for season ticket sales. I
Not if
want
he's not hitting home runs.
I want to build no, but like having his name on the back of the jersey will be great for preseason.
Why don't you just take
ticket
Joey
sales.
Votto?
Oh, I'll take it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
take old Joey Votto.
Old Joey Votto.
Joey Votto was hitting home runs at
And-
one point in time, but mostly people, the analytics nerds were like, this guy isn't that good because he would do other stuff that helped teams win that wasn't hit home runs.
Votto's like an analytics darling. They loved him. They
Can I
loved him his entire career.
There was a counter run on him because toward the end, like after he got
He-
through his power phase, he became a different type of hitter.
What he did is he stopped hitting the way that he used to.
Yes.
And he came in one season and he's like, I'm not going to do anything I used to do. I've changed everything. And he sold out for power. Because he's like, all right, all you guys ever talk about is home runs, home runs, home runs. So I'm going to hit as many home runs as I can without doing anything else. And like he could do it. Joey Votto's an incredible.
I love Joey
baseball
Votto.
player.
Can I get Tony Kemp and Martin Maldonado?
You keep asking for people that no one's going to say no to.
You can have
Right.
any of them.
I want my
Nope,
bench
that's
guys.
a protected. For
I want to
sure.
make sure my bench guys are good. We need
Who
to
do you
have
want in
good
your
bullpen.
rotation? What?
Ooh, yeah.
Tell me.
Anti-analytics pitching staff.
Yeah, tell
will
me
be-
Oh,
about-
I want
Give me
five.
the profile of a
Yeah.
player who you want to see on your mound.
My number, my
Gonna be a
number,
low strikeouts guy.
my number one ace. I want to be a left-hander that throws 91 miles per hour.
Okay.
There's
plenty of those.
with a
Jeffrey
good-
Springs. So
with a good
congratulations.
slider, and an okay curve.
There's actually not many guys who throw low 90s anymore, so
Yeah.
this might be difficult for you to find.
And then
Sort of
I
heavy pitcher.
And then I
Yeah.
want three right-handers, right? 2, 3, 4, who all throw like 96 to 98, but they walk a lot of guys.
That'll
That's
be
what I
easy.
There's a lot of those.
And then
We'll
and
give
then
you Gavin Williams.
dime a
and-
dozen.
and then my fifth guy is I want like just a quadruple A, I just
Joe
want
Boyle,
to
you got him.
I just want to rotate like every 3 weeks. I have a different fifth guy pitch.
Okay.
That's kind of what I want.
Oh, we got options for you.
Okay, great. I'm
lot of
happy to
those.
hear that. And then my bullpen,
We just need a soft tossing lefty.
and then my bullpen, I just want
Jeffrey
to
Springs works for that.
I want to invest all my money in the offseason in the bullpen. Like all of the money to the
That's
bullpen.
an analytical strategy.
Is that
Yeah.
okay? Then I want to
you
put
don't do
no
it.
money. I just want to like
You want random
what?
flamed out starters in your bullpen?
No,
Good idea.
What I want is
That's analytical hate right
I
there.
want a bunch of guys who like used to be great. Like I want like
Perfect.
Adam Miller. I want
That's how they used to build bullpens.
I don't want.
Yeah.
I want Adam Britton.
It's
I
Andrew Miller.
want
Well, John
A-
Smoltz,
Andrew-
you're a reliever now.
It's Zach Britton.
Zach Britton. See,
I know
I
where you're
don't
going.
care. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't.
Yeah, that's how they used to build bullpens.
Yeah.
And Matt is bringing it back.
I just want a bunch of guys who are like, man, I remember his prime.
There's
You
a
could have
lot.
Clayton Kershaw as your closer.
Is Kenley Jansen still kicking?
He's still
I'll,
pitching.
I'll
You know,
take
when
Kenley.
you know when they say like, you can't count some dudes in the NBA who were in like the 50s and the 60s because they played against plumbers.
Yeah. Which is probably
That's
totally
basically
true.
bullpens in the 90s.
Sure.
They were just plumbers.
Sure.
They did not care about them at all. There was like 5 or 6 really good guys, and then the rest of them were complete throwaways.
But how much of
And
has
in
that
their defense,
changed
they're
today?
pitching against dudes who have heads the size of pumpkins
That's
that are
true.
hitting home runs 470
That is
feet.
true.
How much of that isn't still true today? Like I feel like there's there's more than 5, but I feel like there's still just like
I don't know,
No,
man.
no.
Everybody's good now.
Everybody's good.
No starter goes more than like 5 or 6 innings anymore.
That is true.
So because they just want to go with an endless parade of pitchers that throw 99 miles an hour and then have like an off-speed pitch.
Yeah, I'm
Everyone
waiting.
can go max effort for 15 pitches, and then you go to the next pitch.
And then get Tommy John.
Sometime next week is when I'll look at
a nameless, faceless 99 mile an hour fastball.
At some point next week, I'll look at the Cubs roster and what we're working with and how they've played in spring. That's kind of my baseball process.
Do you know they have Alex Bregman now?
I do know that. Know that. I know their whole lineup right now.
You know
Amaya.
they traded for Edward Cabrera.
They traded Owen
He
Casey.
could be a pitcher in your rotation. He walks everyone.
See, that's exactly. I want guys who walk people. That's who I want.
Such a weird thing to want.
But then my
He wants AJ Burnett.
my great defense will clean it all up. We'll just turn a bunch of double plays. We'll just have
Well,
Defense
walking
is an analytical
guys. See, the problem with that is more guys hit home runs now, so there's guys on base when they're hitting.
But
home
I'm
runs.
anti-analytics.
And you
Like
can't focus on straight.
No, but I'm talking about the other team. They're going to be doing the analytics stuff.
How many games do you think my team will win? Probably 6.
Less than 40.
Well, currently your bullpen is all guys that are retired.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
if you have a lead, holding on to it will be
I
problematic.
want my team to be the big FU to analytics,
Okay.
and
good
then
luck.
and then lose 110 games. That's
At
what I want.
least.
which sort of defeats the whole idea.
Yeah, but I'm sticking it to the man. Ken
Afterwards,
Rosenthal, you loser.
afterwards, you could say we changed the game.
We did change the game.
They'll never remember you unless you're historically terrible.
Hey, the first guy.
then you are.
The first guy through the wall is always bloody. All right.
You actually have to be the worst team of all time in order for this to work. In order to make a mark,
Oh yeah.
you have to win less games than the 1899 Cleveland Spiders. Like you have to do it.
They're going to 20. They're going to 20.
And it's 60 losses in
60
a row.
losses.
Yeah.
No, I will have Bush, Horner, Swanson, Bregman, Happ. What's his name? Pete Crow, Armstrong, and Seiya Suzuki.
He's in there.
Pretty solid lineup.
So
They're
Pete
out.
They're
Crow
a good
Armstrong
team in the NL.
Pete Crow Armstrong has been making some cameo appearances in the dugout in the World Baseball
Yeah,
Classic.
he's not. Well, did he play the first game?
Yeah, I'm
pretty he played the first
sure
game.
he's played a little bit.
Your guy looked great yesterday. Congrats.
Yeah, he's gonna win the MVP.
He's not.
Hearing it more and more now.
I
Is he
just
the
keep
favorite,
saying it more.
or is
bro.
he the second favorite?
I think my guess would be he's either second or third.
Do you have a beef with Gunnar Henderson like some Kansas City fans have against Gunnar?
Not really. I
Okay.
do find it odd how people keep saying that he's better than him, but I
I
don't
know
really
Kansas
care.
City fans who don't like Gunnar, not because of anything Gunnar did, but just because
Yeah.
other people think Gunnar is better.
Yeah,
than
I
Bobby.
mostly just think they're weird for saying that.
I agree with that. Also, too, Gunnar, did he not have? I don't think he had a good season last year, right? Is that a sleeper?
Bobby didn't either. For
Is that a
his
sleeper
standards.
team? Baltimore, because they got
Baltimore is a
Pete
sleeper
Alonso?
team in the sense that it's like the
Bounce
year
back.
bounce back.
yeah.
And picking a team out of the East that isn't the Red Sox or Yankees is almost always the definition of a sleeper team.
Sure.
Because the helium is
Toronto
you
went
know.
to the World Series.
So it's Judges is 250, Witt 550, Cal Raleigh 850. There's
Man,
no
I
way
would
you can
never
win that.
like. I just don't understand the people who would ever bet a preseason MVP plus 250. Like that's just a long time to wait, and a lot of things can go wrong.
I agree.
And 160.
Are you interested in
games.
550?
550 could get me there.
There you go.
That,
Take 'em.
That tickles my fancy.
Take him.
You know, but if I'm betting,
Join this boat
if
with
I'm
me.
buying a preseason future, we better be at least plus 600 like that because that's the
So
money.
your plus 600 options are Cal Raleigh, which you should not do.
No, I think
Julio
that's
Rodriguez,
overinflated.
you should not do.
No.
Vlad Guerrero, you could potentially do at plus 1600. Jose Ramirez won't win it, so you shouldn't do that at plus 1600. Gunnar Henderson plus 1700. Roman Anthony is not going to win it.
I
at
think the
plus
best
2000.
bet is probably Bobby at plus 5.
I think your best bet might be either Nick Kurtz having another monster year and the A's somehow winning the AL West, or you could go way down the board, and if he stays healthy, he might be the best hitter
Kerry
in
Carpenter?
the American League in Jordan Alvarez.
Ooh,
But he never stays healthy,
that's a good.
and
point.
he's a DH, so it's kind of hard to win. But at plus 3,500,
He could hit like a billion home runs.
yes, the guy could legitimately hit 350 homers.
He plays in a ballpark that is made for
Tiny
12-year-olds.
baseball park.
like I already like. Here's my thing with like I said, like you two are kind of in terms of like making baseball futures, like you are the guys that I would talk to and that I would like look up a bunch of stuff and read a bunch of stuff, and I'll just go off of what other people think. My football futures, I already have a bunch of them that I'm like planning on making for next season.
Exciting.
That's where I do my own work.
Next year when you get to next at the end of the summer, you could have a segment called Future of the Week, and you just talk through your future football.
I already have two that I'm like I'm waiting for the odds to officially come out, and then I'm just gonna bet them right away.
Yeah, my thing is I wait till usually about
Is
May.
it the Bears under?
No, it's BYU to make the college football playoff.
Okay.
And it's Brendan Sorsby to win the Heisman.
Okay, that was my husband pick.
I usually wait until about like July or August to pick a NFL bad vibes team.
We nailed it this year, by the way. You and I picked the same bad vibes team, which was the Detroit Lions.
Connor's nailed it like 2 or 3 of the last seasons.
Bad vibes team. I got a little scared this year because the Lions immediately came back after the first game and like crushed whoever it was.
The Bears.
Oh yeah, the Ham Bears, and then ended up not making the playoffs. So I get to take a victory lap on that one, which is fantastic.
They got 4th in division.
It was awesome. They finished literally last.
My other bad vibes team was the LA Rams. So
that did not work.
Well, the whole Stafford back thing. Like we were all talking about Stafford's back.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the part of the season where it's like they talked all summer about his broken back.
Well,
and then he wins MVP.
I ended up and I got lucky because Mac Jones played really well and Christian McCaffrey stayed healthy. But like I bet a San Francisco over to begin the year, and my whole thing was like they can't get hurt again. Like they can't, like no way. But then
Jeff Sims can't keep turning the ball over at this rate.
The electromagnetic station says
no one talked about the substation last year. Like that was the issue, right? They had the substation, and no one came out with it. If I knew about the substation, I wouldn't have bet it.
Yeah, but
I still won.
Will Vegas factor that in?
Do you?
Because if they factor it in, now you have to bet the over because they're going to overplay it.
I'm going to be real with you. Maybe you're going to think I'm crazy, but if I were Vegas, I'd be like, the science does say that this is potentially a thing. And they are right next to a substation and they continue to get hurt.
What if they knocked out the substation? Then what?
Then I'd feel better about betting.
Yeah.
What if they added an older, often injured wide receiver in Mike Evans?
Is he often injured now?
He's missed probably games the last 4 seasons. Like not a ton of games
because he only played 8 last year. That is correct.
And then they had to kind of sprint to get to the 1,000 yards at the end of the season.
So I mean, not really. From 2020, he's played 16 games, 15 games, 17 games, 14 games, and then 8 last year.
I'm thinking of just the last.
Now I will say this: you are right in this that Mike Evans has been a will he won't he guy a lot the last 4. Like. He's probable and questionable for a lot of games.
In games, he leaves a lot of times. I know that.
He's barely
a game leaver.
Since 20, he's barely gotten over the 1,000-yard mark.
Yeah.
1,006, 1,035. Then he had the 1,100 year and the 1,200 year, and then in 2024, 1,004. So
we're already talking sports. What was the most interesting NFL move to you yesterday?
I really liked Josh Naylor to the Raiders. I think that's going to be a really interesting move for them. I think
Josh Naylor's the first baseman for the Mariners.
Or
Jalen Naylor, wide receiver for the Raiders.
Sorry, Jalen Naylor to the Raiders.
You think that's going to make the Raiders do something?
Well, he's really good in like the short and intermediate passing game, and I think it'll open things up
for Minnesota.
I think he'll open things up down the field for Brock Bowers.
But they won't have Kevin O'Connell designing their plays.
That is true, but I that's kind of an under the radar interesting move that I like.
Clint Kubiak come in.
I really like ETN to the Saints. I think ETN had a renaissance last year. He finally got healthy. His averages, everything he did went up. They need a run game. I really like a lot of what the Raiders did. I think Algier to the Cardinals might be a little bit overhyped because he was more of a short yardage back last year for Atlanta, and he only had like 3.6 yards per carry. A lot of people really like that move. It's a fine move. Really like what the Bears did. I think Kobe Bryant, the strong safety out of Seattle, is really, really good. Carolina made some pretty decent moves too.
You like them all. You liked them all, guys.
Yeah, for the most part.
You loved them.
Like not over paying $9 million.
The Panthers signed
nope.
a defensive end?
Tell me about it. Who'd they sign?
Devin Lloyd.
Devin Lloyd.
Pretty good.
I thought it was Phillips.
And they got Lloyd and Phillips.
Yeah. So they
Jalen
signed-
Phillips.
Yeah.
Off the Finns.
Eagles.
Eagles.
Oh, that's right.
He
He
got
was there
traded.
last year. Yeah.
So
Nice. All right.
I mean, that was I think
Actually, legitimately
That's a good
really,
pickup.
really good pickup. Yeah, I think under the radar, Naylor to the Raiders was I think going to be a very sneaky one.
Are my guys going to just run it back with old boy, a running back next year from Dallas?
Dowdle went to Pittsburgh, I believe.
All right. What are they going to do there?
Well, they're waiting on Jonathan Brooks, right?
Wait, Jonathan Brooks?
Yeah, isn't he the one that they drafted and he got the AC? They drafted him when he tore his ACL, and then he came back and was going to play a game and tore his ACL in practice again.
Yikes!
So I'm guessing they're
Don't
going to.
they, don't they have Caleb
add-
Johnson on the Steelers?
No, that's the Steelers.
Who are you talking about?
He's talking about the
How about
Panthers.
the Panthers?
Oh, okay. Oh,
Dowdle signed with the
They
Steelers.
had,
that's what I
uh,
said. That's why he said Dowdle. I thought we were talking about.
and Chuba, and he kind of sucked last year. So you got to get a running back. Give me a running. Hey, draft a guy. Draft Emmett Johnson.
Probably Jadarian Price.
Whoa, Emmett Johnson.
You can get Jadarian Price. I think Emmett Johnson's probably going to be. He might be the fourth round.
You can have Aaron Jones. You just have him.
boring.
Are you guys going to draft a running back?
They might. They need to.
Think
I would be fine if they just gave Jordan Mason a ton of work.
I don't know. I haven't looked at a mock draft in a couple of days, but I would think that Mike Washington has probably taken over the running back 3 spot if I had to guess after his combine. But seems like Jeremiah Love is going to be a Tennessee Titan. So congratulations to Josh Johnson.
Hello.
And you got
And
Wandale.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah, that
tiny
was.
Wandale.
If we're talking about ones where we're like, oh, Matt likes them all, I kind of don't like that one.
A lot
like
of,
Wandale
lot
to
of
the
former
Titans?
Giants
It's
are now
okay.
Titans.
It's fine. It's not. It's
You get your day ball on.
doesn't- yeah. it
Day
doesn't really
ball.
Get
get
your
me
day
going.
balls on.
Alrighty, that's Crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Middays Matt is up next.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call. Make room for Daddy. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt, live and rolling here on 1620 The Zone. Matt McMaster is always joined by Josh Odson. Josh, how are you, my friend?
I'm okay. I'm here.
You're feeling better?
I feel better than yesterday.
Allergy season is upon us.
It'll get you.
Also, walking season is upon us.
You took a lengthy one yesterday.
I took a lengthy walk yesterday. Something unfortunate did happen on my walk. That I will admit to you off the air.
Okay.
But
wait for that.
Yeah, that'll be fun. It's everything is figured itself out, so it's not that big of a deal. At one point it was a big deal and I was worried about it. Now we're okay, But yeah, we learned lessons yesterday on our walk, to say the least. But it's walking season. Tay goes, McMaster, where are you walking downtown? Here's what I do. I live next to Creighton's campus. I live pretty close to Creighton's campus. So I walk through Creighton's campus. I was wearing my Nebraska gear walking through Creighton's campus yesterday.
Whoa.
It's kind of awkward.
Got a badass here.
I don't think anybody's going to fight me over it. I don't think anyone really cares. Walk straight through Creighton's campus. Then I get to Lefty's over there. So it's probably like a 20-ish minute walk to Lefty's. Then I do one lap around the Chuck. Then I go up, kind of like by Net Par over there and like that Poke Bowl place over in the Capital District. Take a left, you go by Mo and Curly's, and then I walk down through the Chai, like right next to the Chai, back around, I think that's like the D parking lot, up back around the Chuck, back up to Lefty's.
Okay.
It's
a good little route.
Yeah. Nice little lengthy walk. You get the sights and sounds of downtown Omaha. I guess the Capital District, if you will. Great walk. And we're probably going to take another one today. A little bit more chilly. This is where the allergy season gets you, because we're going up and down between, we're going from 70 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 30. It's just not good. It's not good for the nose. You have a big nose. I have a big nose. Okay. When you have big nose, they called me schnoz on my hockey team.
Oh, wow.
Because I would in the cold, I'd have boogers dripping.
Sure. From
my nose, right? Down. It was disgusting. Okay. So allergies, not good for me. I'm stuffed and I don't even know it, I'm kind of nasally right now, but I don't even feel it because I'm just so used to it. When Adam Copeland got his neck surgery, he's like, oh my God, my neck started hurting. I didn't even know my neck was hurting.
I didn't know my neck was hurting.
Right. That's how my nose
hurt so
is.
bad. I didn't know it was hurting.
If my nose was ever clear, I'd be like, my nose wasn't clear. This is how people live. People live without clear noses. So allergy season has arisen here. Make sure that you're blowing your nose. Make sure you're taking your nasal stuff. Make sure you're taking your Claritin Clear. Okay. We're not sponsored, but we would love to be. Okay. Be on the lookout. Walking season is upon us. Basketball season has been upon us for a while now, but we are fully into the swing of the postseason. The Big Ten tournament begins today. Yes. All the conference tournaments, it seems like, begins today. The Big 12 tournament begins today. The ACC tournament begins today. The SEC tournament, I believe, begins today. So, look, good stuff is happening. We already have more teams dancing. Okay, I think the SEC tournament begins tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. But the ACC, Big 12, Big 10 begin today. Troy, congratulations to the Trojans. Great stuff.
Nobody wants to play them.
Nobody, seriously.
Somebody's going to have to.
Platt Cat and I have been on this. Okay? You don't want to play the Troy Trojans. You do not. Okay? They're a good team. They're a fast team. They've been a good team. the entire time in college basketball this season. They won their conference tournament yesterday. Congratulations. Shout out Furman, the Paladins, returning to the dance. We talked about the importance of making the NCAA tournament from like a name recognition and even like an enrollment standpoint for some of these schools. Furman is near the top of that list in terms of, would I know that it exists if they didn't make the NCAA tournament? I'm going to be real with you. No, I would not. I would not know.
Furman played Troy close in the non-con this year.
Very
64-61 final. Troy came out ahead.
Great point, Josh. Odson, PC in the YouTube chat goes, been eyeing Troy's big man since like December.
Whoa.
See, we trust PC's eye.
Big man.
We love big men.
It's not a guard.
We are a big man show. All right. If you're over 6'6", we're gonna draft you. All right. We're all over the guys.
We get blinded by the measurables.
Me too. We're a measurables radio show. All right. If you have over 33-inch arms, okay, and you're over 6'6", we fall in love with you immediately. That's why we like Nebraska's offensive line. It's a bunch of 6'5", 300-pound men. Which, by the way, did you see that video of Jeep Wade and Lonnie Teasley?
No, is this something I need to look this up?
They were yelling at guys, they were screaming at guys, they were running around, they were coaching guys hard. By the way, so there's going to be a 20 to 25-minute open practice today for Nebraska football. We're not going to spend too much time on the prospect of it, but I always love the open practices, in part because I can really give you a rundown of what the headlines are going to be from open practice, okay? Because number one, the O-line is typically the team, the unit that is practicing the hardest during this open practice. They're typically the unit that is like hitting each other the most and moving, and the offensive line coaches are typically the loudest, and you can hear their coaching points more than anybody. So beware of a lot of O-line clips come out today from various resources and various broadcasters and TV networks and whatnot. You're also going to see a video today of running backs running with the football and like coaches trying to punch it out, or them running through like the little, that little rubber thing where it's a bunch of rubber hands and they run through it, right? You'll see that today. You'll freak out about that. There's always, if I were to do like a pose to make my arms look bigger, it would be holding a football, because I feel like when you had the pigskin under your bicep kind of leaks over the football and it makes it look a lot bigger than what it is. And so people freak out.
Sure.
Okay. So be ready for that. Be ready for like, oh my God, Jamal Rule. Look at all the weight that he's gained, right? Look at how strong he looks. That'll be one. The offensive line will be one. Maybe they'll do a little bit of, you probably get the classic quarterback doing the footwork thing today, where they're just going to be, they're going to be moving. They're going to be moving around, right? And they're like, Anthony Colandrea might just look a little bit smoother than everybody else. And he'll be like, oh my God, look at his footwork. Oh my God.
Anthony clearly ahead.
Clearly. I mean, he just, do you know what he does, Josh Hudson?
Oh,
he just looks the part, man.
The part.
He just looks the part.
Exudes confidence.
I mean, you can just tell the electricity is just, literally it's oozing out of him, right? Kenneth goes, any other tips for making things look bigger, just like in general?
Kenneth!
Oh, razor always helps.
Whoa.
So anyway, like you'll see a lot of quarterbacks kind of just like, you'll see the footwork. You'll see the moving the footwork. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll get some wide receivers like running around trash cans, and they'll do that drill. And you're going to hear the Keel Shorts go, run through the ball.
I don't know if this was your intention or not, but okay, I'm kind of ready for this.
Run through the ball, right? Like that's going to be run through. Like that'll be the big wide receiver thing. There might be like, it depends on when they let them in, because if they let them in before they get the group work in, so like the group stretch, right, where everybody's on the ground and they're all stretching out and go burr, burr, and like they're running everywhere, or they're doing like the jumping jacks, right? If they let them in during that time, you're going to see the classic video of Matt Rule walking around with his hands in his pockets, jaunting. He'll probably go up to one player, dap him up, talk to him, laugh or stuff like that. Like you'll get that B-roll. You'll get the B-roll of like, him talking to Jacory and stuff like that and being cool. Now, if they let them in after the stretching, you're going to get a lot of the team drills I was talking about. The one thing, too, you might get that classic DB drill where they're like backing up and then they go for like a pick, and they're like, and then they open up the hips.
Great radio.
Exactly. They open up the hips and they go and catch it. So that's what he should be on the lookout for today. That's your open practice breakdown, sponsored by Matt McMaster.
Good rundown.
Thank you. I mean, this is.
We're just telling you tomorrow's headlines today.
I was an open practice pro. All right. I went to all of them. I enjoyed them. I actually got retweeted by Albert Breer.
Dead to us.
Here's the thing. There was one open practice and it was with Danny Kalen. It was in the spring. It was with Danny and Dylan Raiola. And I forget who the other quarterback was at the time. It might have been maybe Graham Scab. And they let us in and they were doing like full drill, like playing against each other. Like they were full full go. And it was live. It was live football. And I haven't gotten this confirmed, but like before that date, we had never seen live ball. And after that, we haven't seen live ball. I think they forgot that the media was going to be there. Like, I think they just totally forgot that the media was going to be present. And they just went out and did live ball on accident. And like, they just showed us so much. And I mean, they didn't really show us that much, if we're being honest. We just saw the guys like throwing and we saw a couple guys make catches and whatnot. Like it was what it was. I think like Jacory made a couple of grabs and it looked good. Like, it's just kind of one of those deals where I don't know if they intended to show as much as they showed for that open practice, in which I took all that video. I ended up on like YouTube video, like my clips ended up on YouTube videos by Husker YouTubers and whatnot. It didn't hurt anybody, It didn't really affect anything. Yeah. I wish they did that more. I wish they just showed us a little bit more scrimmaging and a little bit more practicing. But at the same time, you don't want people to take that, what they see at a scrimmage, and overreact to it and assume, oh my God, like this guy's going to be a superstar because he had a great scrimmage. Like, remember, do you remember, oh God, it was the spring game. Anyway, there was like a running back who had an awesome spring game and he never ended up doing anything, like all the way back in 2021.
Classic Nebraska spring game.
Yeah, it's just like, it just didn't really turn.
And then all season, people calling the Big Red overreaction, go, why don't they put blah, blah, blah? And like, he really balled out in spring.
It was like Isaiah Harris. Like, he ended up playing at Kearney, but he had like an awesome spring game.
I've been watching football since 1964.
It's a running man's game. We got to run the ball.
I don't even disagree with that.
We actually will talk about that. They're talking about Anthony Colandrea a little bit differently.
Big tone?
I was thinking about it this morning. What are really the differences between Anthony Colandrea and Jeff Sims and Dylan Raiola? Like, what is the difference between tone and the two other guys that were the starting quarterbacks for Nebraska under Matt Rule? And then I went down a rabbit hole of things and thoughts. And we're going to have those thoughts and questions and answers. We're also going to talk about NFL free agency. A lot of things have been going on. A lot of things will continue to go on. Saw a lot of dominoes fall yesterday. Saw the Las Vegas Raiders spend a ton of money. Tyler Lindenbaum reset the center market by $9 million, but there was also a slew of different guys. Quay Walker went to the Raiders. Nakobe Dean went to the Raiders. Jalen Naylor went to the Raiders. So the Raiders spent a lot of money. We'll also talk about the Atlanta Falcons and signing Tua Tagovailoa. How do Michael Penix and Tua shake hands?
Oh.
They're both lefties.
Yeah.
Is that the weakest handshake of all time, or is it the most awkward handshake of all time?
Well, it's got to be awkward because they're both used to going to a right-handed person, right?
Exactly. So what do they? Like I said, if you and I shook our hands left-handed, it would be a weak ass handshake.
Very limp, yes.
Like they have to. they would be pretty limp too because they're both left-handed. They both have, but you can't go in with two lefts because then you gotta do like the backhand type of deal. That was the first question that came to mind, not how that quarterback draft class, like outside of Bo Nix, Drake May, Caleb Williams, ended up producing some losers that cost people their jobs. That wasn't the thought that came to mind. A lot of mistakes. It's either you hit it out of the park with the quarterback that you drafted, with Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams and Drake May, or you just kind of fell flat and you ended up getting fired because of J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix. So Tua to the Falcons, Malik Willis to the Dolphins. A lot of running back movement. I have a question about a certain running back in the NFL draft, and it's not Emma Johnson. But there actually is there was a great article written about Emma Johnson yesterday that I saw that he's meeting with a bunch of different teams, and there's a lot of interest when it comes to him getting drafted. So we'll see where Emmett ends up falling in the NFL draft, where I think we're about like 43, 44 days away from that happening. We're going to have Michael Severe on today at 11:30, as always on Tuesdays. He'll talk about the NFL draft and his team and some of the moves that the New Orleans Saints made, along with some of his thoughts on Husker football. We'll also talk to Tim Verghese. Timmy V, going to be on the show at 12:30. He's going to talk about the recruiting weekend that Nebraska football had this past weekend, and another pretty big weekend coming up for recruiting as well for Nebraska football. So we'll get the what happened and what is happening in Nebraska football recruiting from Tim Verghese, along with talking about Nebraska basketball. Are the goalposts moving for Nebraska basketball? And is that okay? Is that okay for us to be having some of the conversations that we're having? Because there was a conversation that occurred yesterday on this very radio station that spurred a little thought from me. And I just like to put my 2 cents into the ring. So we'll have a conversation about that. Platt Cat puts in the YouTube chat.
Hi, Platt Cat.
Left-handed people do not shake hands with other left-handed people with their left hand. Can confirm. So it's just a weak, limp, right hand on right hand, weak hand on weak hand shake. I'm going to tell you something now.
They've been going right hand with everyone they know for their entire lives.
I attribute some of my success in my young life to my handshake.
Really?
I got a good handshake. I got a good one. You Shea Boyle, who we had on Wacky Guess Wednesday.
Yeah.
He always said that I had one of the best handshakes that he's ever had.
I believe you believe that.
A handshake is important, Josh Hodson.
In some walks of life, yes.
I think in every walk of life, if giving a firm handshake is a very important thing. First impressions matter. You got to make the first impression.
Definitely.
And if you give a weak ass handshake, I'm hopefully one day I aspire to be a father. And if I am lucky enough to have a girl as my daughter, and she brings home a boyfriend and he gives me a weak ass handshake, I will never respect him. You got to give a firm handshake. Charles goes, handshakes can be too firm. Is that true?
Yeah.
Now I think you can be trying too hard when it comes to handshakes.
Why you putting me in a vice grip, my man?
Well, when I shook Lance Briggs' hand, former linebacker for the Chicago Bears, Hall of Very good linebacker, I definitely tried too hard. J-Man goes, poll question, do you know where that hand was before shaking it? Washing hands. You got to wash your hands. How many times a day do you wash your hands, Josh?
3
times a day.
Half a dozen?
No. Really?
I mean, I go pee.
Wow. Okay. That away. Maybe I'm a little low. I know people who go whole days without washing their hands.
That's disgusting.
I know. I don't associate myself with those people.
Good.
Okay. I've backed off a little, but I used to be like a multiple shower a day guy.
We've worked with people that felt that way.
I don't blame people who feel that way. I
guess I don't want to call myself lazy, but yeah, I mean,
you got to do you. If you feel dirty, even when you're not dirty, but you feel dirty and you got to just wash it off.
Yeah.
Wash it off.
I agree with that.
It's not my
I don't
bar.
like my shower at home. So
okay, that's a problem.
I don't want to spend time in there.
I fell walking into the shower the other day.
Oh no.
Traumatic experience.
You're only 20 whatever.
I know, man.
You're not at slipping in the shower age.
I like bruised a bone. It hurt a lot.
And you're still coming into work every day? Look at you.
Dude, I know, man.
Trooper.
I'm such a warrior.
No one's giving you credit for that.
We're going to talk about a bunch of people who are warriors.
Whoa.
Because they got to win their conference tournament in order to make the NCAA tournament. Let's talk about some of the mid-majors and some of the fun basketball they gave us yesterday. Shout out to WCC. What a night for them. The West Coast Conference.
Tonight's the night.
But Santa Clara won.
Yes.
They're going to get 3 teams in the tournament. Probably.
Are they?
Santa Clara was on the bubble heading before yesterday.
They got to play Gonzaga tonight.
I know, but if they beat St. Mary's, that's a pretty good win.
Yeah, and they've beaten Gonzaga before, yes.
Am
I getting my California West Coast?
I don't think they have.
Okay, that's entirely possible.
They're currently right now mocked to be in 11. If they win, I mean, obviously, if they beat Gonzaga, they're in, right? And they probably might end up being a 10 if they end up beating Gonzaga. We'll see.
WCC, a 3-bid league,
dude. How about it? Have as many teams in the WCC as the Big East. Big East is going to get Villanova, St. John's, and UConn, and then nobody else.
Yeah, you were right. I was wrong. Santa Clara did not beat Gonzaga.
No, but St. Mary's did. I think that's where you got confused.
There was some weird team that popped off and beat
Portland.
That was it. Thank you.
Yeah, but
I'm
they're
sorry.
not even. And then they got beat by 40 the next con. All righty, we got to take a break. We're going to talk about some mid-major and major tournaments beginning today. All here on Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
We are in March. Congratulations to us, by the way, for making it here.
Made it, everybody.
One of the best months of the sport calendar. Really just because of one event, we're being honest with you.
Yeah, I mean,
what
every now and then, this year, opening day is thrown in there. World Baseball Classic.
You know what?
This year's a little better than normal.
We've well established that I like baseball, but I'm not a baseball guy. Okay. And they're, especially in this industry, there are people who care way more about the game than I do and who know way more about
You're not even like a opening day guy?
No, I like opening day in April.
Okay.
There's something about opening day in March that kind of like bugs me.
I hear you.
I don't know. I just always associated it with like the first week of April. And I think it was like when I was like maybe 13, when they started having like a March 28th opening day, and then like it depended if your team started on the road or not or at home. Like I remember one time the White Sox had like opening day on April 11th. They had their home opener on April 11th. That's way too late to have your home opener. I think my birthday is the perfect opening day. April 5th. I think April 5th is the perfect opening date. Maybe like you have a game on April 3rd, but then everybody else. Now, there's that weird thing too we do where we have opening day and then we have that day off right after opening day.
A lot of teams play one day and then have an off day, and I don't
Why?
get
It makes zero sense.
Great take, Matt.
You have so much momentum because everybody loves opening day. I mean, there are some people who think opening day should be like a national holiday, that we should have, like, there was a petition all the way back in Chicago in like 2014 or whatever to make opening day like we don't have to go to work.
I definitely don't work hard on that day.
You don't. There's just so much excitement that comes from the MLB opening day, and then you have a ton of momentum and people want to watch baseball, and then what do? You take a day off the next day. That makes zero sense to me. Makes no sense to me why they do. What does make sense is that we get really excited about mid-major tournaments from a bunch of teams that we haven't watched all year. Season's been going on November. Everybody watched their first Furman Paladin game yesterday. Congratulations to you. A lot of people watched their first Troy game yesterday. Plaquemine and I did not. We watched our second Troy game yesterday. Okay, see, there's the difference. Have some finals today. The CAA finals. Hofstra versus Monmouth. Hofstra had a insane bank 3-point bank shot buzzer beater to send themselves to the final. That should be a good one. 3 seed versus, I believe, a 2 seed. Horizon finals. Right state, wrong college. Taking on Detroit Mercy. I believe this is the first year Detroit Mercy's been available to make the NCAA tournament. If I'm not mistaken.
They get the call? The call up?
They were our dog of the day yesterday.
And it hit. Interesting.
Yeah, but I think we're like very far behind.
Well,
I think we're very far behind.
I don't hear the praise when it hits.
No, it should hit.
I hear the complaints when it doesn't.
So Detroit Mercy will take on, they beat Robert Morris yesterday. They will go ahead and take on Wright State. So those are our 2 finals today. We're going to have some actually morning basketball action coming up here in half an hour.
Whoa.
Baylor going to take on Arizona State.
Okay.
The Baylor Bears are the 13 seed. Arizona State is the 12 seed. Bobby Hurley out at ASU. Was reading an article from CBS Sports.
I missed that
a couple of weeks ago. Basically, the CBS Sports article was like, at the beginning of the year, agents have been jockeying for position to get their clients ready for the Arizona State job to open. According to, so there's 2 sites that I looked at for potential college or for Arizona State candidates. One of them I looked at, I go, I don't really like this article. Like, I don't think it's that interesting. The other article that I read comes from the College Football Network, but it's got college basketball articles on it. Top 5 candidates to replace Bobby Hurley at Arizona State. Number 5, Wes Miller. Number 4, Randy Bennett from St. Mary's. Earl Grant from Boston College. And then you got Richard Pitino, number 1, who just took the Xavier job. So I don't know if Tiny Pitino would end up taking the Arizona State job after leaving Xavier after 1 year. It seems like he enjoys being in the Big East. I don't know. It's not like Xavier, though, has had the best year ever. There's a lot of Coach Mack has a house in Arizona. Would he take the Arizona State job? I'd like to think that that's just smoke and mirrors and people putting things out there. I think Greg McDermott should end his career at Creighton. Now, we're at the point, though, where whatever Coach Mack wants to do, people are going to respect that. So it is what it is. But it'd be very awkward to have a head coach in waiting, and we're anticipating his retirement, then he goes off and coaches another team. Hit the breaking news. What do you got?
Let me turn my microphone on for breaking news. It'll go a little better. It worked for Walter Cronkite. According to UCLA's website, Frederick Hoiberg has been named the Big Ten Coach of the Year from the Big Ten coaches, but not the media.
Okay. I'm looking at this from Chris Solari. Per a Big Ten release on UCLA's site.
I don't think it was supposed to be up there, but it was up there.
UCLA has botched the Big Ten awards.
That's
and
right.
so we have it. They've accidentally leaked their own. By the way, do we think this is accidentally or UCLA and Mick Cronin being so annoyed?
Oh, okay. Now there's something I hadn't thought of.
That they've decided to be like, screw your announcement. All right,
I mean, it was supposed to come out at 11. This is time stamped at like 10:45.
So this is the media poll. This is not the coaches poll. This is the media poll.
The coaches and the media are on that UCLA release.
We'll just do this real quickly. First team, all Big Ten. Keaton Wagler, Bennett Skirts of Iowa, Yaxel Lendenberg of Michigan, Jeremy Fears of Michigan State, and Braden Smith of Purdue. Pretty chalk. Pretty cool. Second team, Merez Johnson Jr. of Michigan, Nick Martinelli of Northwestern, Bruce Thornton of Ohio State, Nick Boyd from Wisconsin, and Price Sanford.
Big Ten coaches had Price on the first team.
Okay. Oh, you have the coaches poll?
I do.
Okay, great. Third team, nobody from Nebraska. Honorable mentions from the media include Elliot Cadeau, David Merkovich, Kylan Boswell, John Mobley Jr., Trey Kaufman Red, Donovan Dett, and Sam Hoiberg.
Hello. Coaches also had Sam and Rink on here.
All Big Ten team honorable mention, Sam Hoiberg. Hell yes. Player of the year, Yaxel Lendenberg. Freshman of the year, Keaton Wagler. And according to the media, coach of the year, Dusky May.
Way to not put any thought into this Big Ten media. The coaches knew better.
The coaches selected Fred Hoiberg as coach of the year.
The coaches also have more awards than the media.
Okay.
Sixth man of the year.
Yes.
Braden Frager.
Yes. Congratulations, Braden. Let's just say this. Media. GTF. All right. Stop it. Stop it. This is media members trying to be different. This is media members trying to prove that they're smart. Guys, Dusky May had an awesome year. Awesome year. 19-1 in the Big Ten. All right. I told you if Nebraska continued to lose games and if they lost that Iowa game and, maybe they were the three, they kind of fell back a little bit. Dusky May went 19-1 in the Big Ten, that I would pick Dusky May to be the coach of the year, the Big Ten coach of the year. But that didn't happen. Fred Hoiberg took a team that was ranked 14th in the preseason poll, according to the same media members, by the way, and finished second. He finished second. And he's not the Big Ten coach of the year. Like, look, I understand if some media members voted for Dusky May. Like, if we had this, let's say there were 20 votes and Fred won 16 or 14-6. I'd be like, yeah, I get why some people look at Dusky May and say, hey, he went 19-1 in the Big Ten. He absolutely should be coach of the year. I get that. But the majority of people think that Fred Hoiberg finishing 12 places above his projected record, above his projected seeding, is it good enough to win coach of the year? Fred Hoiberg's team was projected to play on a Wednesday. His team's going to play on a Friday. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm glad the coaches poll got it right and named Fred Hoiberg coach of the year. He absolutely should be coach of the year. Sam Hoiberg, all defensive team as well in the Big Ten. So congratulations to Frager, to Mask, to Bryce Sanford. Would I have loved for Bryce Sanford to make the first team all Big Ten? Yeah, probably. Is it a pretty damn good all Big Ten first team? Yeah, it's pretty damn good. He did make the all Big Ten first team, though, for the coaches poll. So hell yeah. So for the media, not so much. Not surprising, by the way, that Nebraska gets gypped on the media polls, but the coaches polls respect it. Because the media, I mean, let's be real. We fall in love with name brand. We fall in love with the teams that always have the best players. We fall in love with the talent. We fall in love with, what we think should be right and not necessarily what we're seeing. And it's clear, right, that the coaches see the impact that Bryce Sanford makes, and the coaches see the impact that Rank Mass makes, and the coaches see the impact that Fred Hoiberg has made on the team. But Nebraska isn't a basketball school. If Bryce Sanford was playing for Michigan State, I'm sure he would be on the first team media poll. I really do believe that. But Nebraska's a football school that has never won an NCAA tournament game, so they don't really get that name brand recognition. So kind of one of those instances where I'm glad that the coaches gave the proper recognition to Nebraska basketball players and head coach Fred Hoiberg. I don't blame some. I'm just saying, I'm making this clear right now. I don't blame some media members for thinking that a 19-1 Dusty May should be the coach of the year. Oh my God, we are way over time. I think it's a little ridiculous that they end up winning the award. All right, we got to hit a break. Michael Severe coming up at 11:30 here on Middays with Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right, the Big Ten awards came out. Pretty big stuff for Nebraska. Got to think, I mean, at least in the Fred Hoiberg era, this has to be the most individual awards that Nebraska has won in one season. I mean, I don't really have any way to fully look that up right now and put that together. I'm sure Bigelow could figure that out for us. I know he's listening. So, Jacob, if you could find out if this is the most individual awards that Nebraska has won, maybe since joining the Big Ten. You got to think. I mean, they got one. They got Bryce Sanford, first team All Big Ten for the coaches poll, second in the media poll. Rink Mask and Sam Hoiberg both get honorable mentions. Braden Frager, all freshman team from the coaches, and then he gets sixth man of the year from the coaches. Sam Hoiberg is an all defensive team guy, and then Fred Hoiberg, coach of the year for the coaches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different individuals on Nebraska's program that end up winning some sort of Big Ten honor. If we were also doing assistant coach of the year, you got to think Nate Lesnar would probably win that as well in the Big Ten. The phenomenal job that he's done with one of the best defenses in the country in Nebraska basketball, which that's the one thing about this team that we always talk about. It's not necessarily that they're this great offensive shooting team that can, blow anybody's doors off. It really just comes down to the fact that their defense travels to any gym in America, and you hope that it travels to a pretty big arena in about a week and a half when they go ahead and try and win their first ever NCAA tournament game. So Big Ten awards are out. Bryce Sanford, the second player under Fred Hoiberg to make an all Big Ten first team last year, was Bryce Williams. So congratulations to Bryce. Congratulations also to Sam. So Sam Hoiberg and we went to school at the same time. We met each other in the 2000, this would have been the 2020, wow, we're in 2026 now, right? So it would have been the 2022 season. This was during the 2022-2023 season. So I guess we would have met in 2023 when they made the NCAA tournament for the first time under Fred. And Sam had become the sixth man, and he was playing, behind Jamarcus and Casey, and Bryce was on that team, and Rink Mask was on that team, Josiah Alec, on that team. And I remember meeting him and, growing up in Chicago, he played at Hinsdale Central when his dad was the head coach of the Chicago Bulls. So we were talking, we got along and we started talking about our time, in Chicago and him playing high school basketball in Chicago. He actually he played my high school team his freshman year. Hinsdale Central played Notre Dame college prep, and he scored 15 points or whatever, ended up winning the game for Hinsdale Central. And I remember talking to Sam at the time, and granted, this is a guy who 2 years prior wasn't even traveling with the team. And then the year before that, he only ended up playing spot minutes because Emmanuel Bandamel got hurt and Jawan Gary got hurt. And it was kind of a last ditch scenario where Sam, we have a lot of guys injured. You have to play some minutes now. And then when we met, he was, getting legitimate time and playing a pretty big role on the team that was going to make the NCAA tournament. I remember talking to Sam in that conversation, and he told me, he goes, my goal is to make an all-conference team. My goal is to be an all-conference Big Ten player. And I remember looking at Sam, he wasn't starting. And Nebraska at that point hadn't even made the NCAA tournament at that point. They had a good start, but they hadn't made the tournament yet. And I'm looking at him, and he's basically my height. He's 5'10". He's a bigger guy now, but he was a big guy back then. I remember looking at him thinking, dude, you're crazy. That's a lofty goal. That's an aggressive goal for a guy like you who had to walk on in Nebraska, who's not the biggest guy, who's not the longest guy, who's not the best ball handler, who's not the best shooter, who isn't a knockdown type dude. Hey, that's a pretty aggressive goal for you to say, hey, I want to be a Big Ten all-conference player. And I'll admit, I doubted him when I first heard that. When he first told me that, stand in front of him, meeting for the first time. I was like, this guy's okay. He's aggressive with it. He's probably not going to get that, but hey, good for him. Man, he shut me the hell up. He ended up doing it. Honorable mention, all Big Ten honorable mention for Sam Hoiberg, all defensive team for Sam Hoiberg, leads the Big Ten in steals, undoubtedly the most important player, the glue guy plus, as I like to call it, on this Nebraska basketball team. We talked to Robin Washut yesterday. I asked him, hey, who are your top 5 most important players in the Fred Hoiberg era? Without hesitation, Robin goes, Sam's got to be number 1 because of the impact he had on and off the court for this program, being the foundation, being the heart and soul. It's just one of those things where Sam Hoiberg is a guy that I think a lot of people doubted from the get-go. And also, too, I think when he first came on the team, there was a lot of sentiment, especially for those who didn't watch him at Pius, who thought, wow, this kid's just on the team because his last name's Hoiberg. This kid is just on the team because his dad's the coach. This is like a Tom Izzo's son. Is he really going to, he's, what is he, 5'11", 5'10"? Is he really going to make an impact? And for him to develop and stick with this program and become so important to this program and then be honored as the way he's honored today on an all defensive team and an all Big Ten honorable mention team amongst some really good, Trey Kaufman-Renn and Sam Hoiberg are both Big Ten honorable mention guys. Trey Kaufman-Renn came into the season as one of the more important teams, or one of the more important players on a team that was ranked preseason number 1 in college basketball. And he's on the same team as Sam Hoiberg. And it's because Sam put in the work, grinded it out, became a guy not only that just kind of does everything on the defensive end from a rebounding perspective and a steals perspective, but also made massive jumps this season from a shooting perspective, from the three-point line, spaces out the offense beautifully, and became just so much quicker off the dribble. I mean, how many times have we seen him get to the hole and have some crafty finishes around the basket? So big shout out to Price Sanford. Awesome job from Rick Mask. He's going to end his career as an all Big Ten third teamer in his first season as a Nebraska Cornhusker, in his last season an honorable mention. Braden Frager, hell of a job this year off the bench. The ceiling raiser of this team, 6th man of the year. Fred Hoiberg, not enough can be said about the job he's done from a coaching perspective and kind of reshaping his coaching staff, reshaping how he makes the roster, reshaping how Nebraska basketball plays from when he first got here to now. But I think not enough can be said about just the journey and development of Sam Hoiberg from walk-on guy who was coach's son to honorable mention in the Big Ten. Hell of a story. It's been a hell of a season for this team. We'll talk about some goalposts and then potentially moving for this Nebraska basketball team later in the show, because something I heard here on the station just irked me a little bit, and I want to address some things. But instead, we'll go to the Prairie Flower Casino hotline. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. Randy wants to talk about Big Ten honors. Randy, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing okay, but I want to see if you can help me make sense of this.
Okay.
You've got Team A. You've got 3 players on the all-conference team. Team B, you've got 1 player on the all-conference team. Okay, is it more difficult to coach 3 players, 3 all-conference players to a first-place finish, or 1 all-conference player to a second-place finish?
Randy, I agree with you. I understand. I totally understand. Now, look, I think we have to recognize, Randy, that Dusky May coaching Michigan to a 19-1 record and not just coaching them to a 19-1 record, coaching them to a 19-1 record in a Big Ten that's going to have 10 bids is insane. I mean, that's a hell of an accomplishment. And I don't blame some media members for thinking that, hey, he probably should get the Big Ten Coach of the Year award. But you're right.
What is the cost per win on the NIL expense between the 2 teams?
Bang. Absolutely, Randy. Absolutely. You're totally right. He had a bigger budget. He had more options to go in the portal. He had, honestly, more pull when it came to the success of players wanting to play at Michigan because of what they did the season before. You're spot on. The cost per win, plus the talent, plus the expectation, right? Michigan came into the season, Randy, as the 2nd highest ranked team in the Big Ten, and they came in first. Nebraska came into the season projected to finish 14th. They finished 2nd. I respect and what think Dusty May did is incredible, but to think that more people thought that he did a better coaching job than Fred Hoiberg, I don't believe it either.
Media has never been known to be the smartest people.
Well, hey,
exception of the Steve Sipples of the world, maybe. So
hey, what do you put more stock in? The coaches, what the coaches vote on, or what the media votes on?
On a week, like for example, the weekly coaches poll, not as much, because they sometimes have people mail it in for them. But for these end of season things here, I know the coaches actually take their time.
Yeah. Yeah.
They think through it, and I love seeing that Sam got all defensive team as well.
Me too.
So
me too.
But,
Me too. Randy, good call. I appreciate you, my man.
Yep. Thanks.
Look, I want to make this very clear. I think what Dusty May, and I said this last week, Josh, you were here. I think what Dusty May is doing for Michigan is absolutely insane. But to have a coach whose team was picked to finish 14th and they finished 12 spots ahead of that at second, they go 15-5 in the Big Ten, end up getting the second seed, end up getting the double bye. Come on, man. That and I don't think it's any surprise to me that the coaches recognized that and voted Fred Hoiberg to be the coach of the year. That's not shocking. I don't blame for some media members thinking that Dusty May should be the top guy, but for him to win it outright, I can't agree with that. Cannot agree. I think that what Randy mentioned, the cost per win, right? The cost per win, and the coaching aspect of it. Like, how many first round picks does Nebraska have? 0. Michigan's got a guy who won Big Ten Player of the Year and is going to be a lottery pick this season, and could have been a lottery pick last season. Yaxel Lendenberg was one of the more expensive transfers in the portal from UAB. And they had the money and they had the resources to go and get him. You know what Fred Hoiberg did? He took a guy who couldn't even start on a crappy Iowa team last year, and he put him in a position to be on an all Big Ten coaches first team. What's more impressive to you? Paying a lot for the NBA guy and putting him on your roster and having your roster be great, or scouting, evaluating, developing a dude who couldn't even sniff the starting lineup of a bad Iowa team last year and putting him in a position to make an all Big Ten first team? What's more impressive to you? I think we can all agree what Price Sanford has done and the development and the steps that he's taken is more impressive. That's how I see it. Dusty May, great job. 19-1. Can't take it away from him. Not saying that he's undeserving. I'm not saying that Dusty May doesn't deserve it. I think Dusty May totally deserves it. I just think Fred deserves it more. This team was finished to pick 14th, and they finished second. Right? Those Big Ten preseason polls, if they're anything, they're an evaluation of talent and returning production. Nebraska definitely didn't have the talent a lot of these Big Ten teams did, and they lost Bryce Williams and Jawan Gary. They lost their first and third best player on last season's team. And picked to finish 14th, he finishes second. That's not good enough for you? I don't know what is then. Coming up next, we talk about a guy who's probably just as fired up about this as I am. Michael Severe joins Middays with Matt here on 1620.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
It's Tuesday, 11:30 here on Middays with Matt, which means we bring in the executive director of the Jet Award Foundation, only a couple weeks away from his very big gala, Mr. Michael Sabir. Michael, how are you, my friend?
Just a little stressed.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot better if we weren't going on a family vacation.
Whoa, you're going on a. Come on. Where
So
you go?
here's what here's what happened. So
okay, go ahead.
Over a year ago, we were at an event and they had an auction and they had this thing for Costa Rica, right?
Okay.
We've been talking about going on a family vacation for a while. We haven't gone on much. A little bit when the kids were little, so we were going to go to one. And so we're like, well, hey, it's a good deal. I called the president of our Jet Award Foundation, who has a house there. What do you think about this? Oh, I know exactly where that is. It'll be great. So we book it. Here's the thing. You have about a year to book it, right? And we haven't been able to find a date that fit. Well, as you know, I think you know, it's spring break next week. And so both kids are Nebraska's on spring break and Omaha Public Schools are on spring break. So the kids are off. And so we booked this about, 5 months ago to go on this thing the week before the gala. So I got a lot done. Look, I got a production meeting today at 3:00. Most of the stuff is all in the barn, right? The hay is just, but still, it's I'll have my computer with me. I'll have internet. Not like I'll be out of pocket or anything. So,
but you are dealing with a lot of people who are a little bit elderly, if you will. So I'm just being blunt. I
wouldn't call them all elderly. I would say some of them, they're older. Although, listen to this. We have a young lady. She's great, by the way. She is our engagement navigator over at MCC. She handles our Jet Award students. She is great. Organizes events, gets everything together. I asked her to go shoot a video for me and then send it to me.
Yeah.
And she says to me, I quote, "I don't know much about technology. I'm not sure how to get this to you." And I said, well, Google Drive, maybe Dropbox, something like that. She's like, I don't know what any of those are. And so I said, what kind of phone do you have? And she's like, an iPhone. So let's walk you through this. I don't have an iPhone, but I know how to send stuff.
Yeah.
So we got the app, we got the iPhone link sent over to me, but she was a little stressed because I'd say she's 25, maybe 24.
Oh, whoa. She's single?
She's got a boyfriend. Very, 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 very attractive.
Good joke, Matt. All right. That was calculated by
very, very attractive young African-American woman whose name is Precious.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But I know she has a boyfriend. So yeah, stay back.
It also involves airports, which you've had quite the airport.
My God,
what happened? Why did they evacuate?
Well, there were several bomb threats, including a suspicious vehicle in the parking garage. So when they call the evacuation, we're all like, whatever. So we start walking out slowly, like, no, get out. And so, the 1,000 or so people that are in the airport all have to leave. And we all go and we go to a certain point and they're like, no, farther away. And so we had to go all the way to the other side of the airport, past the parking garage, all the way over there. They evacuated everybody from the second floor, brought them down where we were as well, got all of that. We were out there for about 90 minutes, no information.
KCI over the weekend, by the way.
At MCI Airport, if you're flying, KCI, if that's what you want to call it. And because I had some debates on my Twitter feed. I was like, dude, it's called MCI. Anyway, so we get there. They bring us back in 90 minutes later. Get back in 90 minutes later. But my mom's flight has been on the tarmac the whole time.
That is the worst.
So she's out there for 2 hours. They finally get her, my 89-year-old mother, they finally get her to the gate. They finally get her to me. We go get her bags. We get her bags. We're like, okay, cool. We got the bags. Let's go. We start heading to the parking garage. No. The parking garage is still shut down. You can't leave. You got a car in there. You're stuck. So we all come back inside. There's hundreds of us. And until 6 o'clock, I got there at 11 until 6 p.m. Yeah, I basically got out of there just in time to see the last minute of the Nebraska game and then the overtime. Watching that in the car. Yeah, because my phone had died. I'd been there for all those hours. My phone had died. I was using her phone to do stuff. And then at KCI, those jerks put the food places all inside the restricted area.
Oh, that you couldn't.
Why would you do that?
You couldn't
so
go.
Stupid.
You couldn't go in because you didn't have a ticket.
You can get a guest pass, which it worked fine with my ID. It didn't work with my mom's ID. So I would have had to leave my mom in the wheelchair outside of there. So we ended up eating at Dunkin' Donuts, got my first grilled cheese sandwich of my whole life. It was horrible. And so yeah, it was not great. Then we had a 2-hour drive back to Omaha, 2.5-hour drive back to Omaha.
That sounds like my own personal hell.
It was not great. It was not great. And now we're gonna go we're gonna fly to Panama, and then go from there to Costa Rica. It's gonna be interesting.
Are you going with your mother? Are you traveling with your mother?
No, it's actually all three of us are going. So it's me and my kids and my wife are going.
Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm glad you're okay.
And from what I understand, it's very expensive there now all of a sudden because the economy has completely tanked. And everything's like triple and 4 times the amount that it was costing before. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah. Now that sounds ideal. Everything going Michael Severe's way here on a Tuesday.
That's right.
Let's talk about what do you want to do you want me to give you a team? Do you want to name a team, or do you want to talk about Travis Etienne in terms of NFL free agency? How would you like to take this? Would you?
The Saints are so predictable, dude. They signed so many guys who have background in the city and or the state. That's what they do.
I know. They're like Nebraska football.
Even the punter they signed away from the Vikings went to Tulane.
Okay.
And so, Travis Etienne is from Jennings, Louisiana. I'm excited about him. I think you can still find a place to keep. I know they've moved some money around with Kamara, and so I think you can find a place to keep them both on the team because the Saints haven't had healthy running backs for like 5 years.
I know.
Last year they lost Kamara, and then they lost the kid out of TCU, and then they lost the kid out of Kansas, and they just kept losing guys. Right? So
your whole skill position group, like even 2 years ago, Olave gets hurt the whole season, and then Shaheed has those 4 weeks where he's great. Then he got hurt.
Yep.
Right, and then you ended up trading him because it just didn't make sense anymore. I mean, your team. I mean, do you have an electromagnetic, lab that's next to your practice facility?
No, it's weird. They had all those years where they didn't have injuries. And then you bring in Olave, who's kind of a bobblehead, if you look at the way he's shaped. And so he keeps getting concussions.
There you go.
Yeah, and that's what he keeps doing. Last year, at the end of the year, they had
hospital balls that he gets thrown.
Well, a lot of his aren't getting hit. They're going to the ground. And then his big head hitting the ground. That's where a lot of his has been happening. And so he's been having those kind of issues. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think that they're fine with Etienne. I like what they did. They went and got Edwards to play on the offensive line. So now they got an extra body on offensive line. I think they're good at tackle. They're fine at center. And McCoy's fine at we'll see what happens. I don't know. I do know this. I want to see them draft with that 8 spot, either whoever they think the best wide receiver is, their choice, or get me one of the rush-ins that falls to that spot. So that's
so that's one of two things, right? If I think Love is now going to go at 4 to Tennessee.
Maybe that's a lot of people in the organization are saying, "What are you crazy? You can't be taken with all the needs we have. You can't take a running back at 4 when you can get a running back that might be the best running back in football in the 4th round."
Now, I was going to ask you, do you think that Jeremiah Love is kind of like the Saquon Barkley guy, where it's just because
he went at 2? Yeah.
Well, pre-combine, it was like, all right, it was Kansas City. And then all
the Saints.
Wait. So it was first Kansas City. Then it was you guys. I'm saying like back in February.
Yeah.
It was Kansas City. Then around March, it started like a lot of the beat writers from New Orleans had him going 8. And then after the combine, it seems like, there's some belief that he's not going to make it out of the top 5. Maybe he'll make it to 7 to Washington. You don't think that Tennessee grabs him at 4? And do you think that the Saints and Chiefs getting running backs is indicative of he's probably not going to be there?
I will tell you that Duncan is one of the number 1 writers for the Saints. Put Jeremiah Love with the Saints at the end of the season. That's who he's wanted. And he's been fighting with fans because fans are like, you don't need to take somebody that early. And then it became an argument over whether or not Reggie Bush was a good enough player to have been taken at the place where he was taken. It became a huge argument on Saints Twitter forever. Which I even jumped in there as well. But anyway, so I think I can see him going at 5. I can see him in the top 5, excuse me, not F5, top 5. But I was telling this to Damon the other day, there is a chance that if somebody doesn't move up and trade in, that he might drop. Because the conversations are going on about how the value of a running back is. I think you'll have people convincing themselves, I've got to get a pass rusher, or I got to get the best tackle, opposed to taking a running back. That's what I think might happen. There's a chance that he could drop.
See, the reading I do that comes from McShay and Breer indicate, and Eisen too, now he's not a writer. He's on television.
It's a personality.
That he's not going to drop out of the top 5. Now, I think at this point, the top 3.
He's not going to the Giants, right?
Well,
the only place he could go is Tennessee, unless somebody trades him.
I think the top 3 is kind of set. I think it's going to be Mendoza, then Reese, then Bailey. And then I think the draft starts at 4.
Well, maybe Bailey. I wouldn't be surprised if
Styles.
Well, no, one of the offensive linemen go there. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the offensive linemen. Maluga, one of those guys go there at 3. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I think finals dropped a little bit more because more people will believe he's going to be a guard.
Good point.
Yeah.
So I think that Kansas City signing a running back, and I think you guys signing a running back is indicative of their intel is telling them that he's not going to make it there. I don't think that the Giants are going to take a running back at 5 because even with Tracy and Scadaboo, they can find a run game through that. So it really just comes down to, do you think that the Browns would take one, which I don't think is going to happen?
No, the Browns will take one. No.
And do you think that Washington is going to take one?
No, they're not either.
So
somebody's got to trade in. If it's not Tennessee at 4, somebody, and I still believe Tennessee's got a chance to trade out. I really do. Tennessee's needs are later. Yes, their needs are later. Whoever wants the next best defensive player needs to move up to 4 and then drop, and they can drop back and get.
I think you're sitting so pretty at 8. I think you win at 8. I think like there is a
the 2 spots that they want. Yeah, you get the next best defensive player.
I think if Love goes before in the top before you guys, I think you're winning. I think you get Tyson, or you get Carnell Tate, or you get Bain, or I love that Monroe Freeling guy out of Georgia, because talk about a dude like you were talking about Fanu, right? Where
that's early for him though.
Freeling, but he's got his measurables are insane.
Yeah, that's early. I'd rather have later arms. I'd rather have the guy from Kansas State, Arizona State, who's only played a couple of years of football. I think that guy's going to be great. I think he's going to be a great right tackle in the league.
Okay.
The offensive lineman. He's only played competitive football for 3 years now, but every year he's gotten better. I'd take him instead.
I don't think you guys or Kansas City signs Walker and ETN without truly believing that Love wouldn't fall to 8.
I just don't believe that they were going to take a running back. The Saints were going to take a run. So 2 things I know the running back they're not going to do. They're not going to take an undersized defensive lineman. The Saints have measurables that they play. The same. You have the same exact general manager you've had for the last 20 years. Mickey's still there. Mickey likes long, lean, not a lot of production in college. That's who he likes, right? And that's who he's gotten over the years. And he's traded picks, and he's done that. And most of those guys have been bust. But when he's been successful, that's his formula. He's not taking a guy like Bain. He just doesn't fit his measurables.
I was going to say, if you're saying that if he likes guys who are long and lean, I don't think Ruben Bain is going to the Saints.
That's not the guy he's looking at. He would take, if it's up to him, he would rather have a guy, like I said, that has great potential. His upside is huge, than a guy that maybe had a great career in college. You've seen him do that a lot.
Is the hope for you that you just hope that Bailey or Styles somehow falls to 8?
I think my choices are, first thing would be the running back. Wide receiver. I would take a wide receiver because what they have wide receiver wise. So if Olave can be healthy all year, it's fine. Then you got guys like Vele and your tight end is probably your next best receiver. And so they need another wide receiver near the body. If that isn't who they think, if none of those guys they believe are valuable enough, that spot, then give me the next best defensive player. Okay. And I would rather a pass rusher, but at that point, your top pass rushers will be gone, most likely.
Sure. So I think this top 10 is very interesting. I think it's very, very interesting. And I think that the 7 through 10 could end up getting some really, really good players if some teams get a little bit too greedy.
And don't forget, there's always the chance, because the draft is so stupid, that somebody does something really dumb to come up and get a guy like Ty Simpson. I know it's stupid, but it's happened before. Okay. Or they come up and they look at a guy like Kenyon Sadiq and they go, wow, physical freak. Tight ends are the way you need to be now in the league. That's how you score touchdowns. Comes up and gets him. There are some chances that people do some weird stuff in this draft as well.
You think the Rams and Ty Simpson, could that be something weird that happens?
You see that in a lot of projections. I think they're smarter than that.
I agree.
I don't think the Rams would think to themselves, Ty Simpson is our future. I just don't think they would.
But I also think too, if there's always and I don't know what Sean McVay is thinking, but there is the kind of trump card of like, if Sean McVay for whatever reason falls
retires.
I was going to say falls in love with the first 9 games of tape of Ty Simpson. Then that always Josh brought that up too last week, where it's like there's always the thing of like, will McVay retire?
Yeah, he seems like he's going to be in TV. He's going to do like a John Madden. He's going to leave early and go get in TV and do that the rest of his life. My thing about Ty Simpson is I don't care what his tape looks like, right? I don't.
He doesn't fit the Parcells rules.
It's not even the Parcells rule. It's my rule of just having more than 20 starts.
I know.
If you don't have more than 20 starts, it's really hard to succeed in the league, and most guys haven't been able to do it. So I look at that, and I just don't see him as a guy that I would certainly not take in the first round. For the second, if it's like Tyler Shuck went in the second round, 40th overall pick, at that point you can go, okay, I'm going to take that shot. I got my first rounder who's going to be my starter for how many years, hopefully, right, in Banks. I went and got my quarterback in the second round. That's fine if you do that. Yeah. But if you take him in the first round, I think you're wasting a pick.
Is there any team in particular you just liked what they've done so far in free agency?
Well, as much as people are, doubting whether or not Kenneth Walker is for real, I think adding him to Kansas City is just huge. They're gonna have to be taking a little bit to be getting their quarterback back. Mahomes coming off of the ACL. It's gonna take a little while for him to get back. Obviously, I think he'll get healthy quickly though, because he's just that kind of guy. But adding him to their run game, finally giving them somebody who could be productive and occasionally give them some big explosive plays, which they haven't had at running back in forever, is huge. I think San Francisco going out and getting Mike Evans. I don't know how much time Mike Evans has left, but if Mike Evans is healthy over the next 2 years, that deal is worth it. No doubt about that. Mm-hmm. I kind of like what the Saints did, going out and getting Edwards on the offensive line. I mentioned that in ATN. Let me see who else.
What do you think of Linderbaum?
That's a lot of money, man. I know how good he is. I know how good he is. I know. That's you just reset and then reset the market for that position. You went from where the position was, you reset it, and then reset it again with how much money you're paying him. And in 4 years, he's only what, 25, 26? So
I don't know.
I think he's 20. He's only been out of Iowa like 4 years. So you're going to pay him. He's going to get another big contract.
I think his agent might have been playing we don't want to be the highest paid center. We want to be the highest paid interior offensive lineman. I think they were trying
or player in the league he was going for at one point.
The highest paid right guard is Trey Smith at $23 million. The highest paid left guard is $24 million. That's Tyler Smith of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. So he's now the highest paid interior offensive lineman by a couple million.
Yeah, and he's really good. I mean, I'm not doubting that. And Baltimore was in a horrible position that you couldn't franchise him. There's no way you were going to do that and pay him $27 million to franchise him. You couldn't do that, and so you couldn't get the deal done with him. And then you have a team that's willing to pay so much more over the market, and there's nothing you could do.
I really like what the Chargers have done. Look into that and let me know what you think of it next week. I like the guy that they got. The tight end that they picked up. He's a really good run blocker, and then they got that center from Washington.
Who they get at tight end?
Kohler.
Oh yeah, Kohler's got a lot of potential out of Iowa State. Yeah. I like him. I think he can block pretty well. We'll see if he can develop into the next level of catching touchdowns. That's what tight ends have to do.
They got dual tight ends now too. They got that Gagson guy, and then now they got Kohler.
Well, Rondé Gadsden's more of a big wide receiver.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is the duality of like you got a good blocker in Kohler, and then you got Gagson who can like catch the football, and then Tyler Biotish, the center, and then if they keep Slater and Alt healthy, and then and they added Alec Ingold, great fullback out of Miami,
out of Wisconsin.
Well, came from the Dolphins.
Right. I always go back to the college person, but so I like the Giants. I think Giants did really well.
I did too.
And the Raiders did what they could. Raiders went out and said, we're going to spend all this money we have, and we're going to turn this around, and we're going to protect our rookie quarterback, and we're going to make our defense better, and we're going to just keep getting picks.
And also too, I mean, Lindenbaum, he makes Ashton Genty better. So now you're kind of
you protect the quarterback and run the ball with your first round pick from last year.
They love they got that small linebacker out of Georgia too. They got Dean, and they match him up with
Kobe
Quay
Dean.
Walker.
Yeah,
So we'll see what happens. All righty, Michael Severe, thank you so much. You're the best.
See you guys later.
We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, good.
You
Bye-bye,
always get a
everybody.
standing ovation from Josh Hodson after.
Well, I just hope Josh can pull it through over the last 2 hours of the show today, opposed to yesterday.
Me too.
Did he throw up in the garbage can again yesterday?
No, he didn't throw up.
No, it's just tired, allergies.
I got the allergies too. I hate the warm weather. Stay cold. I hate the warm weather.
We're the nose boys. All three of us have.
I hate it. I hate it. It's the worst.
We get you and me bonded, Michael, over the fact that we're always sneezing. We always have tissues on us.
I always got something. I carry a big towel around me to sneeze in. I got so much moisture coming out of my nose.
Well, enjoy. Where you're going to Puerto Rico, right?
No, Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. All right, enjoy that. We'll have a good vacation. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Coming up next, the odd news with Josh Hodson here on Middays with Matt.
God, Alan's gonna murder us. It's fine today.
It's awful. I'm awful. I'm terrible.
Now next week when we're on in Central Nebraska, yes.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Hodson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Odd Son.
Josh Hodson, what do we got, my man?
Well, the odd news serves as a couple of different things. It serves as a, we'll tell you about the stupid criminals of the world, but we'll also critique the media.
Oh, yes.
this
I love
segment.
to do this.
Okay.
As a media member, I love to tell people they're not doing a good job.
Precisely, which leads us to Shaquille O'Neal.
Jeez.
First and foremost, on the latest episode of Inside the NBA, or the husk of what was once known as Inside the NBA.
What did he do?
They were discussing the Boston Celtics, and Baylor Shireman's name came up as
wow.
He's been a key cog in the wheel while Jason Tatum is out, and Shaquille O'Neal didn't know who Baylor Shireman played for.
Dope. What did he say?
He said, "I don't even know who this kid is."
Nice.
Shaq said.
Nice.
Ernie Johnson gave him the name. It didn't take. I ain't never gonna let anyone named Baylor or Shireman score on me, O'Neal replied. Shireman, who he play for? Admittedly, pretty funny. Regardless of who you may or may not root for or against.
When do you think those guys stopped watching the NBA?
Oh, great question.
When do you think they stopped really paying attention?
2 or 3 years after their playing career ended.
Okay. Oh, wow. I think Kenny was doing really good up until like maybe the Kawhi championship is what I would say is when Kenny kind of dropped off. I think Shaq stopped watching probably in 2016.
Okay.
And then I would say Charles still kind of watches. I think he gives it the old college try.
Unless it's college basketball.
And then he doesn't. He just picks
Yeah.
he just picks Auburn to go all the way. And then they, I'm sure though. I have a feeling though that like I don't know what Charles he probably does have a stance on this individual, and he might have made a comment already. I wonder what Charles Barkley's comments on Bruce Pearl saying Miami shouldn't be in would be.
Oh. Somebody had to have asked him this.
Someone had to. But we can look that up later. All right. What's our next one?
You go out with a group of friends and you're going to travel together. Maybe you're going to Costa Rica as a family. Together, you have a couple of celebratory pops.
Yes.
Before you hop on the plane in the Admiral's Club or whatever. Not that Admiral. A woman deemed by an airline to be too intoxicated to fly was arrested by officers at an airport in New Haven, Connecticut. They identified the woman as 44-year-old Kristen Powers.
Come on, Kristen.
Police said the incident happened Sunday at the New Haven airport around 5 p.m. They said they were advised that there were multiple intoxicated people inside a terminal. Cops got into the terminal. They're like, hey, break it up. But Powers remained. Police said she advised multiple times that the airline told her she couldn't fly because she was too drunk and that she was instructed to leave the premises, but she didn't know where to go because she was thinking, I'm going to get on this flight and I'm going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So she then told police officers, place me under arrest me. If you're going to arrest me. So they did. She was charged with disorderly conduct and released on a $500 bond.
I think she just was trying to look for guidance. She was like, I don't really want to get out of here on my own. I'm too tired and I'm obviously too drunk to really do anything productive at this point.
I don't know where to go. I don't know how to get there.
You guys have a car and a map, You could you're going to put me in a better spot than I could put myself. I think she's an idiot for getting that drunk, but I do sort of in a way kind of respect the whole, the easiest way out is getting arrested. Which never put yourself in a position where the easiest way out is through the law.
Great take.
I think that goes without saying. But if you're in that position, I do appreciate the wherewithal and kind of the awareness to be like, you know what, probably through handcuffs and a cop car is my
remove me from this
out.
Situation. I'm not going to remove myself.
There you go. You know what? Check Tuesday, brother. Get me out of here. Idiot, dummy, but good audible. What's next?
Finally, Sean Salisbury in the news, not that Sean Salisbury.
I don't know who that is. I don't even know who that Sean Salisbury is.
He used to work for ESPN. He was a talking head on the NFL. I think he played quarterback for the Vikings.
I feel like every former media member at one point was a talking head for ESPN that just got dumped unceremoniously.
They had a lot of employees.
They did. Shut
Matt,
up, BS.
You've worked a lot of games before.
I have, yeah.
You strike me as somebody that always wants to be there and isn't like, okay, let's hurry this game up. I got dinner. I got a dinner recipe.
That's actually very spot on.
Sean Salisbury did not feel that way when he was calling the Mercer versus Florida lacrosse match Sunday on ESPN Plus. We go to the audio.
Oh my God, you have audio.
Someone made a super clip of Sean Salisbury complaining on a hot mic about being at this game.
All right, yeah, let's run that clock. I'm telling you, why does it take so long to put in, like, how is it that hard? Like, let's go. Keep running the clock. Yeah. All right, let's empty the bench and let's get out of here early. Now, all that to add 14 seconds. Back to play. Errant with the cherry on top of a dominant day at the Diz. I am going to cut her brakes on her way out of here. What a waste of time. What a waste of time. Right, we'll wrap this one up quick. And yeah, if we could just keep the clock running, guys, that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool. Broadcast crew here at Florida. I'm Sean Salisbury saying so long and good afternoon from Gators.
Remember, Gator girls will be in the car.
And let's get the F.
Florida beat Mercer 23-9 in that lacrosse game. Sean, I understand. I
kind of get it. I kind of understand.
You're probably in a place where you needed that $50 that Florida was offering you to do the game, but maybe just say no next time.
I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, so there's part of me where it's like, if you don't want to be there, don't take the job. Other people would gladly take that job and do it, okay? At the same time, if it's a blowout and we're doing a review to add 14 seconds to the clock, okay? I don't get like I kind of ladies and gentlemen.
It's 23-9.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're talking to a guy who called a lot of Millard South football games this year.
That's right.
Okay. There definitely were points in the third quarter where I was thinking, all right, Isaac Jensen just scored his 5th touchdown of the day. This team is up by 63 points.
Run that clock.
Let's just get going, right? Like, let's just be over and done with. I get it. Saying you're going to cut the players' breaks. Pretty great. Pretty funny. I haven't really heard anybody say that before.
Also, that was a supercut of his comments. So it's amazing that no one got in this dude's ear and was like, hey, man, like,
you know what?
Maybe let's just cool it on the threats of violence.
I've been around a veteran TV broadcaster before, and I've asked him, I was like, have you been around a production where they call a code red on a guy, where they go, we can't stand this guy, we're going to keep his mic hot? You know, or we're going to try and screw this guy over because he's being a DICK, you know, and like, it's just, we're sick and tired of him. That veteran TV broadcaster told me, absolutely. Absolutely. And so maybe that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, maybe that communicates something to you, that he was on a hot mic and nobody gave a damn.
That's true. Entirely possible.
We've been on hot mics before. We know that when after you're on a hot mic, it probably won't happen for a pretty long time.
You're gonna really tighten it up.
You're gonna tighten it up after that. Okay. The fact that they weren't tightening it up tells you something, in my opinion. In my honest broadcaster's opinion. In my honest broadcaster's opinion, I'm going to tell you why I feel different about Anthony Colandrea than I have about other quarterbacks.
Big tone.
I'm going to tell you why I feel a little bit different. And it's actually having to do with the failures of Matt Rule in the past. We'll talk about that coming up next on Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Alrighty, if you were watching YouTube, you saw the graphic, and we'll announce it here. I will be going, Matt McMaster, in Middays with Matt, will be at the Big Ten Conference Tournament this weekend in Chicago. I am leaving for Chicago on Thursday. We are going to do, hopefully, we're trying to get all the details and logistics all figured out. We will make sure we iron out all the things we need to iron out. But currently, right now, the plan is to do a live show from the United Center, from the Madhouse on Madison of Middays with Matt during what will be the first game of the day at the UC. So I will be there in Chicago. Josh Odson will be here in Omaha. We will be giving you exclusive coverage throughout the day on Friday and throughout the weekend on Saturday and Sunday of everything going on at the Big Ten tournament. We want to shout out our coworkers and colleagues and everybody here at Usher Media who helped put this entire thing together and who is going to send me to the Big Ten tournament this weekend. Josh Odson, let's go.
Thanks to Early Bird as well for
sponsoring
us out. Yeah,
absolutely. Want to thank our great sponsor, Early Bird, for giving us this opportunity for me to go to the arena I grew up in, to go ahead and cover the Big Ten tournament, to go ahead and do this great radio show. So thank you so much to Early Bird for help sponsoring this endeavor. We are going to have a great time covering the Nebraska Cornhuskers, who picked up a slew of awards today. Braden Frager, 6th Man of the Year, also on the All-Freshman team. Sam Hoiberg, Media, Honorable Mention, All-Big Ten team, was also on the all-defensive team, according to the coaches. Fred Hoiberg, according to the coaches, Coach of the Year. Not that stinky media who voted Dusty May to be Coach of the Year.
Idiots.
But anyway, Fred Hoiberg, Coach of the Year. Also, too, Price Sanford made the second team, according to the media, but according to the coaches, the people who are on the bench watching the games and the teams that they're playing against, Price Sanford, all Big Ten first team. 4th player in Nebraska's history in the Big Ten to be named to the all first team Big Ten conference team. So congratulations to Bryce Sanford. Congratulations to Rick Mask, who also made the honorable mention team. So big awards day for Nebraska basketball. I don't know for sure. I'll go out on a limb though and say that this is probably the most Big Ten individual awards that Nebraska has earned in one fell swoop. I don't think there's been another year where they grabbed as many all Big Ten guys, honorable mention guys, defensive guys, 6th Man of the Year plus Coach of the Year. So congratulations to Nebraska basketball and congratulations to the men who won the award. Very excited to go out there on Friday and be able to cover the team. And probably, hopefully give you guys as much great content as we possibly can from Chicago. I know we'll be doing a lot of social media stuff as well. Today is the second day of free agency. We're still waiting for some chips to fall. Where's Trey Hendrickson going to go? That's kind of up in the air. Definitely the Jalen Phillips deal might change his valuation. Jalen Phillips, a guy who his highest sack season was 7.5 sacks. Jalen Phillips never higher than more than 7.5 sacks, but great in run game is Jalen Phillips. Also very much an analytical guy. Pass rush win rate, one of the best in the league. A lot of chaos stats for him as well. So that was a guy that heading in to free agency, his number was probably around the $24 to $25 million range. I know Ben Solak thought that he would be in the mid to low 20s, ends up getting $30 million a year. We'll see how that adjusts Trey Hendrickson's contract. Does he land somewhere in between the Daniel Hunter deal, where he was around $40 million, and somewhere between the Jalen Phillips deal? The Detroit Lions traded David Montgomery, the Knuckles, to Jahmyr Gibbs's Sonic. They just signed Isaiah Pacheco to be their short yardage back, to be their tough runner in the backfield, to be their bigger back. I mean, that's obviously something that the Detroit Lions love to match up with. They love having the speedy and versatile Jahmyr Gibbs while also having that big, powerful back behind him. Isaiah Pacheco, whose better years probably behind him, but still definitely would fill the role of a type of guy. I mean, it makes more sense. I mean, David Montgomery is a type of player where he should be getting more than 25, 35% of the carries, right? He should have a larger role in an offense. Isaiah Pacheco, this is probably the best thing for him. He's at the point where through injuries and just wear and tear and whatnot, that having kind of that short yardage goal line role is probably the best for him. Also, too, the Detroit Lions are just going to use the crap out of Jahmyr Gibbs this season, and they definitely should. The guy's awesome. The guy is quite incredible at being a running back. So the Lions go ahead and add Jahmyr Gibbs. They did lose wide receiver / kick returner Khalif Raymond to the Chicago Bears. Bears had Devin Duvernay returning kicks for them last season. While Duvernay was fine, he wasn't great. Khalif Raymond definitely a better fit in that role for the Bears, who are trying to improve their special teams unit, which left a lot to be desired, but not nearly as much could be desired as the awful, terrible, no good Green Bay Packers, who got rid of Rich Bisaccia. See ya, Rich Bisaccia. So there
you wanted him to stay, though.
Yeah, I loved him.
Yeah.
I thought he was great. I thought he did a phenomenal job as the Green Bay special teams coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a terrible decision.
You know, sometimes guys become scapegoats, and there's public pressures forcing this guy out.
Guys, how can we forget what Rich Bisaccia did with the Raiders? It'd be very, very short-sighted to just let him go after 1 or 2 bad years as the special teams coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. I have a take. So I was thinking this morning about Anthony Colandrea.
Big tone.
I woke up, and like any normal human does, I immediately started reading Steven Sipple's article.
Sure.
On Husker Online. He was talking about Eric Crouch. Mr. Crouch was over at the practices.
Classic Nebraska writer.
Yes. Eric Crouch. Steve got a hold of him, got his comments on what he's seeing out of Anthony Colandrea at practices. Mr. Crouch has been at the practices. He's made some insights as to how tone is looking. The biggest thing is that Crouch was very complimentary of Anthony Colandrea's leadership ability and the fact that he was, being very strong with his voice and trying to pick up players around him, and thinks that Colandrea's energy that he shows on the field is something that is infectious. It's contagious. And it makes other players want to play better, which I think is definitely something that's real. And I'm not saying it's real that Colandrea specifically is great at that. I'm saying it's real as that happens. Like, if you've played athletics, there's always been guys on your team that their performance and the effort that they give out motivates you to give out a greater effort. I mean, there were multiple guys that I played hockey with that were like that, and I like to think that I was kind of like that at the end of my career. And so Crouch kind of made that observation. Definitely, guys been in and around a ton of football and athletes and whatnot, and so that was interesting to me. But I started thinking of what is the difference between Anthony Colandrea and Jeff Sims and Dylan Raiola? Because Nebraska has had contributions, elite contributions from the running back position. Nebraska has had some elite contributions from the cornerback position. Nebraska has had some really good contributions, not last year necessarily, but in the era of Matt Rule, they've had some really good contributions from the defensive tackle position, Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmaker. They've had multiple positions that you're like, okay, yeah, they've produced a lot and have contributed a ton to the wins that they've had. But the quarterback position has kind of been tough for Nebraska. 2023, the quarterback position was a massive reason, probably the reason why they didn't make a bowl game. In 2024, it left a lot to be desired, but I think we kind of gave it a pass because it was a true freshman playing that position. 2025, that position did not progress in the way that it should have. And this season, once again, a lot of stock is being put into the QB position. So it got me thinking, like, what is different about Colandrea than it is about Jeff Sims? Well, they're kind of similar in this regard, right? Former ACC quarterbacks turned the ball over a lot in the ACC. Dual threat Quarterbacks can do it both with arms and can do it on the ground as well. And I think there are a lot of similarities there. But the one thing that I've noticed in terms of the difference between Colandrea and Sims is the tone in which they talk about Colandrea. They talk about Colandrea as a guy like, man, he's been there, he's done that. He's a football player. He knows what he's doing. I mean, and how can you not say that about a guy who literally was the Mountain West Player of the Year last season? Right? The big difference between Colandrea and Sims is that Sims went straight from making mistakes in the ACC to making mistakes in the Big Ten. Colandrea went from making mistakes in the ACC to racking up incredible numbers in the Mountain West. And with Colandrea, the conversation has been, man, the energy that he brings and the attitude that he brings and the plays that he can make. And basically what they're saying is that a lot of the things that he did at UNLV, they see transferring over onto the practice field and to just how he acts and how he walks and how he talks at Nebraska's program. Jeff Sims, and I was there for all of those press conferences, the attitude around Jeff was, but Daddy, I can fix him. Like that was the attitude around Jeff. Like it was very much, the attitude was like, okay, we're aware of the mistakes that he's made and we're aware of his flaws, but man, you should hear the NFL scouts. Man, you should, people are telling us, man, he's an NFL guy. His height, his athleticism, his strength, his arm, he can play at the next level. This is a next level dude. Didn't work out. They couldn't fix him. They couldn't develop him the way that they wanted to. Who was the next quarterback that Nebraska had after Jeff Sims? Well, it was Dylan Raiola. That's another guy that we talked about as NFL dude. Guys, he was a 5-star for a reason. He was a 5-star because he was 6'3", because he had a massive rocket, because in high school he showed that he could bomb the ball deep with accuracy. Still to this day, and there's a reason why Oregon decided to bring him to Eugene to hopefully develop him for a year, and then he can become their starter, is because Dylan Raiola is an NFL type guy. He's an NFL type prospect. That's a fact. That's what people who do this for a living, and that's what, me watching. Yeah, he's got the arm strength of a guy who can play on Sundays. Nebraska couldn't develop him. Nebraska couldn't take that NFL talent, that potential NFL talent, and turn it into college football wins. 0 for 2, right? Nebraska football trying to develop potential NFL prospects into high-caliber college football players. Well, let's go to the NFL. Because Matt Rule, it didn't work at Carolina, not because they didn't have a run game. It didn't work at Carolina, not because they didn't have good defenses. It didn't work at Carolina literally for any reason other than they couldn't find a solution at the quarterback position. And that happens a lot in the NFL. But what's unique about what happened in Carolina is that it's not as if they didn't have the talent at the quarterback position. Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold were two quarterbacks that played quarterback, that played the position for Matt Rule. There were two quarterbacks who were drafted in the first 5 picks of their respective drafts. Baker Mayfield was picked number 1 overall by the Cleveland Browns. They both went to Carolina with the hope of being the solution for Matt Rule and his team. Baker Mayfield's time with Matt Rule, he played in 5 games. He threw for 962 yards. He had 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and his completion percentage was 54. Baker Mayfield's time after Matt Rule, he's thrown for 12,000 yards, 95 touchdowns, 37 interceptions, and a 66% completion percentage. This is just a couple years after it being with Rule. Sam Darnold, the other quarterback that was with Matt Rule, while he was with Rule, played in 18 games, had 3,670 yards passing, 16 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, and a 59% completion percentage. Since playing for Matt Rule, Sam Darnold in 34 games has thrown for 8,367 yards, 60 touchdowns, 26 interceptions, and a 67% completion percentage. Baker Mayfield has made 2 Pro Bowls. Sam Darnold's made 2 Pro Bowls and has won a Super Bowl. Mayfield's completion percentage went up 12% And his touchdown to interception ratio went from 1-to-1 to almost 3-to-1. Sam Darnold's completion percentage since leaving Matt Rule went up 8%. His touchdown interception ratio went from 1-to-1 to about 2.3-to-1. I'm not saying it's Matt Rule specifically because he's not the quarterback's coach, but Matt Rule collectively, Matt Rule's teams, the 3 seasons he's had here at Nebraska and the seasons he's had at Carolina, his teams have not been good at developing quarterbacks. They have not been good at taking potential talent and making it into production. They failed with Mayfield. They failed with Darnold. They failed with Sims. They failed with Raiola. That's a fact. Okay? That's not an opinion. That's a fact. And Baker Mayfield went to better offensive coaches with Dave Canales and Liam Cohen and ended up becoming a Pro Bowler. Sam Darnold went to better coaches like Kyle Shanahan, like Kevin O'Connell, like Clint Kubiak, better offensive coaches, ended up becoming a 2-time Pro Bowler and a Super Bowl champion. Jeff Sims went to Arizona State, got his jersey retired for a performance that he had in the College Football Hall of Fame with the Sun Devils. Looked like a much better quarterback in Tempe than he did at Nebraska. And I think it's going to be pretty safe to say that Dylan Raiola will probably end up looking better in green than he did in red. We have seen over the last couple of seasons that developing guys that have a lot of potential and turning that potential into production at the quarterback position has not worked out for teams coached by Matt Rule. I think Colandrea is just a better fit from the perspective of he's not an NFL prospect. He's not 6'3". He's not 225 pounds. He's got a good arm. It's not insane, right? The things that he does on a college football field aren't really going to translate as well as maybe others when he potentially tries to go to the NFL. But this is a guy that's proven that he can perform and that he can produce at a level of college. Now, is the Mountain West a Power 5 conference? No. Is it a pretty good conference? Yeah, absolutely. Was he the player of the year in that conference? Yes, he was. Nebraska football has proven that they're not going to take a guy who could be good and make him good under Matt Rule. They've tried that twice. They've failed twice. I think Anthony Colandrea is exactly the type of dude that they need. A guy who knows what he needs to do. He knows what success looks like. He knows how, his strengths. He knows his weaknesses. He knows what works for him. He's seen the ball go through the hoop. Yeah. Is it going to be a transition from a speed and physicality perspective for Anthony Colandrea going from the Mountain West to the Big Ten? Absolutely. Is he going to make mistakes because of those adjustments? Yes, he is. But does Anthony Colandrea need to figure out the type of football player that makes him successful? No, he's already found that out through UNLV. I think that if we're learning anything from what Matt Rule has done at Carolina, and if we're learning anything that Matt Rule has done at Nebraska, I think Nebraska's strategy for the quarterback position going forward needs to be proven production and not, hey, we can make him better. Because they tried doing that in the NFL and they failed miserably. And they tried doing that in college football and they failed. I think from here on out, Nebraska football should approach, now, granted, do I think am I communicating to you that, hey, they should dump Trey Taylor and that they shouldn't try and develop Trey Taylor from a high school prospect into a quarterback prospect? No. I'm not saying. I think Trey Taylor is an awesome talent, and I can't wait to see what he could become for Nebraska football.
Tired of dealing in potential.
But
I want results.
But do I worry a little bit about Trey Taylor's ability to develop into a high-level quarterback in Nebraska? If we're going off of track records, yeah. Why? How could you not be? They had a guy that they told you over and over and over again what he could be. They've had 2 guys now that they've told you over and over and over again what they could be, and they didn't turn out to be that way. And they had 2 guys in the NFL who ended up having way more success after they were coached by Matt Rule. Is that worrying to me? Absolutely it is. Am I worried about Colandrea, though, specifically? No, I'm not. The guy knows what is successful for the guy knows how to be successful for him. And Nebraska doesn't have to show him that. And I think that's good for 2026. Coming up next, we'll talk about recruiting, talk about what happened over the weekend, and talk about what's coming up this weekend for Nebraska football and recruiting, all with Tim Verghese here on 1620 The Zone.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, you want to go to concerts across Nebraska this spring and summer? You do? You do, Josh? Okay, great. 1620zone.com has the opportunity for you to win your way to a bunch of different concerts. We have 6 concerts. 6 that you potentially can win your way to on 1620zone.com. Journey.
I can't even name 6 acts.
Journey in Lincoln. They're playing on April 9th at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Joe Coy is in the Metro at the Holland Center on April 17th. George Thorogood and the Destroyers are at the Astro on May 17th. On July 20th, the Black Keys are heading to Omaha at the Astro. The Young Giant is going to be in Omaha at the Astro on August 3rd. And I would say the main event, Chris Stapleton in Lincoln for the All-American Roadshow Tour, October 7th at PBA. Go to 1620zone.com for a chance to win your way there. There are a lot of people who have been in Lincoln the last couple of days, even today, there are some visitors that are in Lincoln, and a lot of them have something in common. They are good at high school football, and they are people who project to play well in college football. They're called prospects, and somebody who's an expert in these prospects and whether or not they're going to play well in college or where they're going to go to college is Tim Verghese from Inside Nebraska and Rivals. We welcome him in here on Middays with Matt on a Tuesday, as always. Timmy V, how are you, my man?
Hey, how we doing, Matt? That was a heck of a transition.
Thank you. I'm very good at transitions and I'm very good at intros, Tim. I'm getting better and we're developing, just like we're hoping that some of these players on Nebraska football team is developing during the spring. Tim, I don't care. We're friends now. Give me the scoops. Who's playing well in spring? What are you hearing? What are you listening? What is sticking out to you? What are your sources telling you? Tim Verghese, it's a quiet spring. I'm done with the quiet. Get loud. Tell me what you're hearing, please.
Yeah, quiet spring for sure. I'm really excited to we're going to get our kind of first look at practice later today, and I'm really excited to get down there. Was debating a little bit if I should make the drive down for what will essentially be like 20, 30 minutes of practice access, but I think it's worth it. We haven't seen anything so far, heard some things, but, in terms of there's a lot I want to validate for myself.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but I think on the defensive side of the ball, I think between what we're hearing from recruits and what I'm hearing from people within the building, I do think, people are really resonating with what Orange is doing, the new scheme. I think he's doing a really good job of implementing that scheme so far. The Sua Lafotu praise is very interesting to me.
Yes, me too. Me too.
Yeah, that's someone that I'm really interested in, and I'm really excited to see kind of where he's at when we get out there today. I want to see where some of the pieces in the secondary are, because I think we're going to see a lot of Jameer Khan and Donovan Jones this year. I just don't know where. I don't know if the staff knows just where. Just yet either. I think they know that Donovan Jones in particular can play on the outside. They know what they have there. I think but they like his versatility. I think he's physical enough where he can move around a little bit. And then I think with Jameer Khan, that's a guy who can play nickel, can play safety. And I think from just a pure motor and physicality standpoint, I think he's also kind of earned his way onto the field a little bit. So I think we're going to see a whole lot of those two guys. I think we're going to see, I think Andrew Marshall is the guy at outside corner. Something I don't know if I've said it with y'all. I've definitely said it in a couple places already this spring, but I think from an upside standpoint, I think Dexter Foster actually has more upside than Owen Chambliss. I wonder how long it takes for that to maybe come together. Because I could absolutely, Chambliss comes in with a familiarity within the system. He just led San Diego State in tackles. He's, kind of plug and play linebacker one. But Foster, I think, is a better athlete, moves around a little better, can do a little more in coverage. And, I just wondered a little bit when they're moving around, what that looks like, and so that's what I'm going to be curious to see that when we see them side by side.
Okay.
And then up front, I want to see where Anthony Jones is at. We've heard a lot of good things about him and where he's at. And then I really want to see who's working into the rotation. Like, are there some names we're maybe just kind of overthinking or not really thinking about here that are higher, further up in the rotation than we think? I think about a guy like Dylan Parrott along the interior. I think about like a Willis McGahee outside. And then something I think is maybe on my end, a sneaky take on my end. I also wonder a little bit if Quasi Gilmer's going to be wide receiver 1 over Isaiah this year. I think Isaiah has the talent to be a future pro, especially if we see a more diverse route tree from him, see him win a little more consistently, within his routes. But I don't know. I think Quasi comes in as a more complete weapon, and I think he's also shown the ability to win at all 3 levels as a route runner. And I especially I think there's more of a familiarity there too with Anthony Colandrea, and those two play together. I know there was some peer recruiting in there when Quasi was coming out of the portal. So that's something that I'm just going to be interested to watch how the chemistry develops between Colandrea and some of these receivers, because it just wouldn't surprise me if Quasi ends up being the leading receiver on this team in the fall.
It's wildly interesting to me, Tim, and I think you've noticed the same thing too. Who are the guys that we've heard about? Foster, Gilmer. I know that your boy Merrick, he did a great job on Jashir Whittington, right? Talking about Whittington and the things that he can do. We've heard about Mubanga and Babalade and Brendan Black on the offensive line. A lot of these guys that apparently are popping are guys who haven't played a game at Nebraska yet, right? And so I think I have a little bit of skepticism when it comes to, are they popping, or is it just they haven't made a mistake in red yet? But what interests me is that Sua Lafotu is that one guy where it's like he's been here since 2023, and he's like really one of the few guys that we've heard who isn't brand new to this program, who's popping to them. I think that stands out to me a lot.
Yeah, you've always known there was something there. I mean, he stuck it out through some injuries and some real ups and downs here at this program, and I think there's a reason both him and his coaching staff have seen this through. And if he can stay healthy, I think that's the biggest thing for him. As Steve said it, but for him, availability is the best ability at this point in his career. But if he's healthy and if he's out there, and if Nebraska, for me at least, expectations are look, if Nebraska can get a couple of snaps out of him, they'll take it. But look, if they can get him playing a real role within the rotation, that's exciting. That's something I didn't really factor in, and especially if he's popping the way the staff was talking about. Again, there you have to account for with the scheme change, with some fresh eyes in there, and maybe something new within within the teaching progression that maybe clicks for someone that maybe didn't click before. You always have to account for someone established on the roster, or some people on the roster that are established to break out in a way you don't expect. If it happens across multiple spots, or at least if it happens across at the defensive line, that's where Nebraska needs it.
Yeah. I think that's spot on analysis by you there, Tim. How did the weekend go in terms of recruiting? We saw a lot of pictures, a lot of I think it was 9 4-star and 5-star guys that visited Nebraska over the weekend. What are you hearing?
Yeah, pretty good weekend for Nebraska. I think you have to start with the offensive line. Jeep Wade had a really good group in town. 5-star interior offensive lineman Albert Simeon, 4-star interior offensive lineman Jordan Aguinoma. Both those guys are top 6 at the position. 4-star offensive lineman Timmy Aliu, who we've talked about before, who was on campus for junior day, was back on campus over the weekend. Nebraska well positioned in that recruitment, even though he's going to take his time. And I think they're going to put together a pretty good kind of O-line group. I think they made a move with both Simeon and Aguinoma. Aguinoma kind of told me afterwards, he has a top 5 out. Of that top 5, it's kind of between Nebraska, Texas A&M, and Georgia. And Nebraska's closed the gap on Texas A&M, who's running in 1. But they've kind of solidified themselves as this number 2 contender. And as a guy who's in the state of Georgia, again, you can't really count out the Bulldogs, but I do wonder a little bit as he moves into the next stage of this, if this ultimately does become kind of a battle between the Huskers and the Aggies. He really likes Jeep Wade. He really likes the coaching staff, and him and a couple of O-line on campus, but Jordan was on campus in the fall, and he straight up noted, like, he was like, hey, look, this group looks completely different than the one I saw. Like, you can already kind of feel Jeep Wade's impact. So that was big. And then I think the next biggest haul in terms of guys on campus was the secondary. Addison Williams had Mekhi Williams, 4-star safety, committed to Florida State, on campus for the first time. Nebraska, he's been looking around a little bit. Miami's in the mix, Wisconsin, Maryland, a few other programs. And coming out of this visit, I think Nebraska is well positioned for an official visit. I think he's gonna add Nebraska to that official visit list, expecting that to happen. I think they really made a move for Jalen Hill, 4-star cornerback out of St. John Bosco, out in California. That's a powerhouse program. They always have Power 4 talent. He's a 6'3" corner the staff would love to have. It's been a Notre Dame USC battle as of late. Nebraska's been this contender that's kind of loomed here for about a year or so now. I think they've moved into that top group. I think this is now a USC Notre Dame and Nebraska battle. And then behind them, you have Indiana trying to work back in there, Tennessee, Washington, LSU. I could see UCLA, Cal, a few programs still trying to work back in there. But at this point, I think this comes down to USC, Notre Dame, and Nebraska. I think Addison Williams has done a really, really good job there. A couple other quick hits. I think Caden Howard was on campus, the wide receiver who I have a prediction in for, made his first trip over the weekend. Now has a commitment date set for March 20th. I'm expecting that to be good news for Nebraska. He's going to visit Minnesota before them. There's a team kind of running in second place, but he's close with Ja'Cory Barney, close with Cortez Mills, got around Ja'Cory, and the staff compared him to Barney, and I think for him getting to see Barney out there, the development he's had in his time in Nebraska, I think it's really going to be hard for anyone to catch Nebraska in that recruitment. And those are kind of some of the highlights, I think, from the weekend. You had a few cancellations. David Fuller-Runcho, he's going to be on campus today.
Okay.
A 4-star defensive tackle out of Chicago St. Patrick. Just had a flight cancellation. Same for Tavares Harrington, 4-star safety out of Mount Carmel. But he's going to be back on campus, or going to get to campus later this month, most likely. And then DeMar Tooks was not able to make it either, 4-star defensive end out of New York. He's going to be on campus later this week. So that was about kind of the rundown of the news this week. And I know we still have a few guys I'm working to catch up with, but of the guys we've caught up with so far, that's where things are at.
Tim Verghese of Inside Nebraska and Rivals. Quickly, before we let you go here, right now, Nebraska has 6 commits in the 2027 recruiting class. According to On3 and Rivals, they are ranked 8th in the country. They have not had a commitment in the year of 2026. So far, all of their commitments for the class of 2027 has made their commitment in 2025. Do you expect the floodgates to open a little bit here pretty soon? I mean, are we trending in where they're going to get a couple more, or is that kind of hard to say?
I think it should be a productive month. I mean, even if they don't necessarily pick up multiple commitments this month, I think they're setting themselves up for some good news in the coming weeks, April and so on. I know some guys made visits over the weekend and are really close to decisions and want to see a few more places before they settle down and say something, but or kind of make a decision. But I know Nebraska's pretty close. Caden Howard, going to announce later this month. I think if you had to circle who's Nebraska's likeliest next candidate, that's one who has a set commitment date. But Corey Hadley Jr., 4-star safety, is going to be on campus later this week. I really like where Nebraska stands there. They've done a lot in that recruitment. Addison Williams from the jump has been kind of leading this since he was at UCF and has already gotten him on campus 3 times. It's going to be his 4th trip to Nebraska. He's played his recruitment close to best. I don't get the sense he wants to drag out his recruitment. Wouldn't be surprised if he chooses to shut things down sooner rather than later. And then you've got a few more visits coming. Just later this month that I think could pop. Timmy Aliu's one where he's already planning out some summer official visits. But if he were to pull his decision up and pop early, it would be for Nebraska. They've done a really good job with that recruitment so far. So. I think they're trending for a couple more, and honestly, the thing is for them at a couple of these positions, they're starting to get to that point where it's like at DB, for example, where it's like, hey, like you kind of have to claim your spot in this class, or they might not be a spot for you. They have so many options where they are kind of having to not necessarily put pressure, but it's kind of like hey, it'd be nice if you pulled up your timeline and committed because you can kind of claim your spot right now. So there's been some of that a little bit where I wouldn't be surprised if Nebraska gets some good news sooner than they expect, just as a result of guys trying to claim their spot.
Timmy V, you're the man. Always appreciate you and your insights around recruiting and what's going on. Hopefully we have a good open practice today and you get plenty of clips and plenty of things to look like. Don't you dare say anybody looks the part, Tim. You are better than that. You are better than that. Don't do it.
Oh, man, I had a whole segment planned tomorrow for who looks the part. 5 guys who looks the part.
The Who Looks the Part podcast with Tim Verghese coming to a publication near you. Timmy V, you're the man. We'll talk to you soon, my man.
Talk to you.
See you, Tim. Mr. Verghese, always keeping us on our toes, informed and updated on what is going on around Nebraska recruiting. I got a text in from a guest of ours who's also on the show, Michael Severe texted.
Hi, Michael.
Always listening, Michael Severe. He goes, real good about intros. We know each other well. We are acquaintances. And you have never gotten my intro right. I got his intro right today. I called him the executive director of the Jet Award. Do you know that the Jet Award sends kids all across Omaha to trade schools? Got a great partnership.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's not just we give out the best award to the best returner in college football. We're sending kids to college, to trade schools.
That's important.
It's very important. The trades are important. And the Jet Award does that.
Is the Heisman doing that?
I
don't think so.
They might be doing some things. Okay, we're going to be doing some things here on Middays with Matt. We're going to read your emails and texts coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
Bednarik would never.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right, things are going down in the NFL. Dave Pacheco signed with the Detroit Lions. Shout out John P. I'm now back on PFF.
You're back on the P train?
I'm back. No, I'm not. I've never was. What? Were you kidding me? No, fan signed with the New Orleans Saints yesterday, by the way. That's kind of a deal that went under the radar. 2 years, $8.75 million. Had a PFF WAR grade of 0.11 for Mr. Fan. The details of Elijah Vera Tucker has come out. Elijah Vera Tucker has been like a very good player and has had really good PFF grades and just a good player for the Jets in general. Just he's been hurt a lot and honestly kind of too much if we're being honest. But he signed a 4-year, $70 million deal with the New England Patriots. The deal, those details are now out. He's going to get a $7.2 million signing bonus. Only $17 million of that dollar, though. 17 million of those dollars are guaranteed. So it is one of those contracts where it's a lot in number, but could be something that the Patriots could get off of pretty quickly if Vera Tucker ends up having some of the same injury issues he had previously in his career. We're going to go to the Equitable Bank inbox. Equitable Bank, they take banking personally. They always pick up on the first ring. Let's go ahead. Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Emails. He's been emailing in all day, but he emails in about Coach Hoiberg. Steve, hey, Matt. Totally agree with you. Fred Hoiberg deserved Coach of the Year award for the Big Ten. He took a team projected to finish near the bottom of the conference and had 26-5 regular season. He has them a top nationally ranked team, and they ended up second in the conference. This is arguably the biggest overachievement in the league, hands down. And look at the talent on paper compared to other Big Ten teams. SMH, it's because Nebraska isn't a name school for b-ball. I also think, too, like it has a lot to do with Dusky May going 19-1 in a double-digit bid conference. At the same time, I just think that when we're talking about, talent and overachieving and, our wins above expectation, right? Fred Hoiberg is way above wins above expectation than a guy like Dusky May is. I have a ton of respect for Dusky May, don't get me wrong. But I also think that there is just kind of one of those things where it's just like, Fred Hoiberg did a lot more with a lot less than a lot of coaches, basically any other coach in the Big Ten. And I think that within its own right definitely deserves to win you Coach of the Year. I just think that's kind of how I view it. I'm not taking anything away from Dusty May and what he's done. But at the same time, man, you're projected to finish 14th in the conference and you end up finishing second. And you're a team that there was a great tweet from John Rothstein that people were kind of blowing up from December where Nebraska on their undefeated run, right? They hadn't beaten any high quality teams yet, but Rothstein goes, hey, this is going to be a potentially a potential bubble team in Lincoln after their great start. Ended up being a team that very well could end up getting a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. I think that just kind of paints the picture. Now, great text in from the 402.
Hi, 402.
Coaching great players is tougher than you think. Fred coaches a bunch of hungry players. Dusty is dealing with NBA egos, etc. I think that's a great text from the 402 because you're right. Look at Kentucky, man. Kentucky spent $22 million on a roster. They had a bunch of guys who were projected to go ahead and be drafted in the NBA, and they put all this investment. And what's happening in Kentucky? Well, they can't get it together, right? We saw it happen in Kansas last year, right? Where that team just did not seem like they like each other with Hunter Dickinson and AJ Storr. And it seemed like Bill Self was having a really, really tough year, just trying to get all those guys on the same page and having the culture built. What do you think happened to Jerome Tang in Kansas State? It wasn't a lack of money. It wasn't a lack of talent. It was a lack of collectiveness. And I think that the 402 is right here. Coaching good players and getting all these good players to buy in together, because not everybody is going to be the superstar. Not everybody is going to get the stats. Not everybody is going to get that recognition, right? In order to win basketball games, bringing those guys and putting them all on the same goal and all on the same path, a lot more difficult. It's a lot more easier said than done. And I think the 4-2 is right. At the same time, when you're projected to finish 14th and you finish second, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Going back to Bill Self, I mean, I don't think he had a very easy year this year, or at least he
Yes.
probably thought it would be easier than it has been with all of the Daryl Peterson stuff.
Yeah, Darren.
Sorry.
It's one of those things where I think we are discovering more money might equal more problems in college basketball.
Interesting.
So, I mean, team here that in this very state that spent a lot of money on players, and just because they spent a lot of money on players doesn't mean it necessarily worked out. Let's go ahead. Steve has been shout out. Steve's been emailing in all day. Chris emails in.
Hi, Chris.
UNO recognition. Great to see UNO get some run on a DraftKings ad. LOL. He's referring to Mr.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Chris Richardson,
Yeah.
a center for the Omaha Mavericks, who played plenty of minutes this year for the Mavs. Chris is like I think he's like a 7-footer, tall guy. Has a ton of potential to be an impact player in the Summit League. Excited to see what Chris does in his career as a Maverick. But Chris Richardson had 31 turnovers this year, had 0 assists. He had a 0 to 31 assist to turnover ratio.
Not what you're looking for.
No, that's one of the worst in like NCAA history. So DraftKings went ahead and made a graphic of Mr. Richardson and said, Omaha men's basketball Christian Richardson finished the 2025-2026 season with an absurd stat. He is just the 9th player in NCAA history to record 31 turnovers and with 0 assists in a season. History! History!
They did him kind of dirty, but
Yeah, they
I
did.
mean,
He's a center. He's not.
the numbers are what they are.
Omaha, valiant effort, won a game of the Summit League tournament. Once again, could not defend their Summit League title, but a heck of a season from the Mavericks, who battled so much on and off the court this season. Isaac Anaconde was supposed to be a key player for them, and just could never get healthy. And then obviously Dang Mayer, the tragic passing away of Dang Mayer, their teammate, before the season even began. Just a very turbulent season with a ton of injuries, and some of their key players couldn't even play until late December. But they ended up putting it all together and having a lot of momentum heading into the Summit League tournament, and a valiant effort in the Summit League tournament, but eventually fell in this semi-final. So Mavs, once again, a heck of a year from Coach Chris Crutchfield. We get a text in from Utah.
Hi, Utah.
Hello. I saw your stream and wanted to text you. How has your day been? Well, the 385 day's been fun.
Good text.
We've been having a great time. We've been hanging and banging, if you will. Vibing, talking about everything. Nebraska basketball, Nebraska football. Oh, I think it's this guy. Puny candidate. He goes, hello, guys. Can you see my tet? Yes, we did see your tet. Thank you for tetting.
Good tet.
If you will. Great tet. And Neb98 Pats goes, hey, Bill, South Kansas, Michigan. I got a tiny violin for you. It's playing right now. Mike goes, John P or John P-E-E? John P-E-E, obviously. We push in P, if you will. Not really. We're just trying to get on a PFF account so we can give you all of the updates in terms of what's going on in the NFL. Let's head to break. Let's talk about NFL quarterbacks. Coming up next here on Middays with Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Okay. So we got another Teton from my friend in Utah.
I like this. This is a good bit.
He goes, I'm no longer watching your stream.
Oh, no.
But will you text me and let me know if there are any more updates
About
sports? So I'm going to
okay, we got to think of something to update.
Okay. Yes, we will update you. Let me text this in.
We
will
have an
update you. We need to give him takes. What do you have any takes that you want to give him? Any opinions that you want to give him?
The Jazz are better than their record.
Okay. Josh thinks the Jazz are better than their record.
Yeah.
Are better than their record. And let me make sure that he knows who I am. Matt.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Are you going to rub that Mammoth overtime loss in?
No, not
okay.
at all. But the Mammoth are bad at hockey. That was an embarrassing performance. I, Matt, am about to give an opinion, if I could type correctly, give an opinion on why we shouldn't pay mediocre quarterbacks market money. I will let you know how the audience takes to it.
This is a long text. I like it. We're going to be friends with this person.
Do you think that's a good opinion? Also, what are you wearing right now? Whoa, not that type of text. Khakis. All right, Jake from State Farm. Question mark. There we go. Oh, John writes in.
Hi, John.
Tell that guy from Utah that Matt Rule's a terrible football coach. Oh, should we ask Utah guy?
Yeah.
Do you have Husker football takes? Question mark. Okay. John writes back in. You're probably getting the Zone's network hacked on live air from Mr. Utah. Maybe. That would be a great bit. It'd be a great bit if I screwed up. Can you imagine if I Damon Benninged 1620's Twitter?
Yeah.
If all of a sudden we just started selling crypto and awesome cars? That'd be sick. Mike goes, Man and Josh, how are you two? Like, really, how are you? How are you, Josh? Are you happy?
I'm not happy because I'm looking for the Bo Rude, what are you wearing right now clip, and I can't find it.
I just want to know what the guy's wearing.
Can't find it. God.
I mean, is it something cute? I don't know. Yes, I do have an opinion, by the way, on quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And because something happened yesterday. Tua Tagovailoa went ahead and signed with the Atlanta Falcons. And he actually signed for a very small deal because he's getting paid $99 million to not play for the Miami Dolphins next season.
Somebody compared that to like the Miami Marlins payroll.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
It's like their entire payroll or more than their payroll.
That's crazy. So in 2024, Tua Tagovailoa signed a 4-year, $212 million deal to be the long-term future for the Miami Dolphins.
$78 million is the Miami Marlins payroll this year.
Back in 2022, Kyler Murray signed a 5-year, $230 million extension to be the Arizona Cardinals QB for an extended period of time. Both these guys are going to be on minimum deals on their next teams because they're getting paid so much dead money. It'll be ridiculous. So here's the thing. And I had this take, and hand to God, it was a bad opinion. But I had this opinion because of some of these contracts we've been signing for quarterbacks in the NFL. I said that if I were the San Francisco 49ers, I would not have given Brock Purdy the deal they gave him. I would not have given him that 5-year, $262 million deal. Okay? And the reason why I believe that was because I didn't think Brock Purdy was an elite quarterback at the time that could really go out and truly win you a title without having an elite roster around him. Okay. And we kind of saw some of the makings of what happens to Brock Purdy when he doesn't have an elite roster around him because of the injuries the team suffered in 2024. We saw that. And I thought, look what he did when all these guys got hurt and he didn't have Ayuk and he didn't have McCaffrey and he didn't have Trent Williams and he didn't have Kittle. If you don't have an elite roster around this guy, I don't think he could be that great. $53 million is way too much. I wouldn't pay him. Now, I was proven wrong by Brock Purdy because Brock Purdy had a really good year, and the San Francisco 49ers, even still with a lot of injuries, were able to have a good year, including Brock Purdy getting hurt. But my sentiment of I'm just not going to pay a guy $50 million if I don't think he's going to be an elite quarterback, I think holds a little bit of water because Tua and Kyler. Because when Tua signed that contract and Kyler signed that contract, while they had shown promise, while they had good seasons, while they had made the playoffs, they weren't elite. They weren't at tier 1 quarterbacks. Hell, I wouldn't even put them at tier 2 quarterbacks. And that's the point. Like, when is this going to happen in the NFL? When you're sitting there and you have a quarterback who is coming up for a contract and he's only like the 11th best quarterback in the league and he's asking you for $60 million. When is it going to happen when a team says, you know what? No. We're not just going to give you $55 million because you're a fine quarterback and that's what the market details. And we're too afraid to go and find another option at QB. Is a team ever going to do that? Is Kyler and Tua Tagovailoa, are those deals warning signs of, hey, unless you have your Josh Allen, unless you have your Joe Burrow, unless you have your Patrick Mahomes, unless you have your Herberts or your Lamar Jacksons, don't make that mistake. Because we're kind of seeing it a little bit with teams who are like, all right, Jordan Love is the guy, but he's not the guy, and is like he's not elite, he's not top tier, and he's not Stafford, and he's probably not Dak, and but he's fine. We're gonna pay him all right, we'll pay him $60 million. What happens with CJ Stroud? Right? That's a quarterback where you're like, are you sure about CJ Stroud? Are you really confident about CJ Stroud? Do you think are you going to pay CJ Stroud $60 million with the hope that he could be a top tier quarterback? Or are you going to say, you know what? We'll let somebody else make that mistake. We're going to try again to go and get a quarterback because we'd rather cut ties with you early and say, no, we're not going to pay $60 million for a non-tier 1 quarterback. And instead, we'll let somebody else pay you that money. We'll let somebody else potentially put themselves in cap hell, and we'll trust our scouting. We'll trust our evaluations, and we'll go and sign another quarterback. Or we'll go ahead and identify the next Baker Mayfield. We'll go ahead and identify the next Sam Darnold. We'll go ahead and identify the next guy that we can pay at a cheaper deal and who can get us and win us the Super Bowl.
I think we're doomed to continue this cycle because the Raiders just dealt Geno Smith.
Oh, to where?
The Jets. Somebody said, I will give you something if you give me Geno Smith.
I just think, Josh, I don't think we're going to get to the point where you have like the 9th best quarterback coming off of his rookie deal and you don't pay him $55 million because we're all really afraid. We're all really afraid to, number one, be wrong, and for that guy to go somewhere else and then end up being great. And I think we're really afraid that you're going to let that guy go and then not be able to find another one that could be as good. That's why I think we won't get there. But at the time, could Could you have made the argument that Tua Tagovailoa and Kyler Murray probably didn't deserve those deals? Maybe less so for Kyler. You might have been able to make that argument for Tua. But at the time, Tua had a pretty good year. Mike McDaniel. Trevor Lawrence until this season was another guy that we could have identified and said, wow, why did you give him that deal? Off the promise that he might be what you thought you drafted him to be. Now, he ended up having a good year, and the Jacksonville Jaguars ended up making the playoffs. But it's one of those things where it's like you have two quarterbacks who signed massive deals who you thought that at the time was Kyler Murray a top quarterback in the league in 2022? No, he was not. Was he a top 10 quarterback in 2022? Probably around like the 9, 10, 11 range. Was Tua Tagovailoa top 5 QB when he signed that deal? No, he wasn't. And yet you paid him like he was a top QB, and now you got to pay him $99 million for him to F off. I'm very curious if teams look around the quarterback market and say, you know what? Maybe this guy isn't worth it. Maybe we're going to roll the dice and let someone else take the risk of paying that person $300 million, $200 million, or whatever the hell they're going to pay them. And we'll roll the dice and try and find another quarterback that actually will be worth that number this current quarterback isn't worth in our eyes. I wonder if what happened to these two gives some teams some hesitation. I know if I were a general manager, I for sure, without a doubt, would have hesitation next time I'm getting up to a rookie contract extension. And I don't fully know if this is a tier 1 QB. If I'm the Houston Texans, I'm taking a long, deep breath before I make my decision on CJ Stroud and say, are we sure? Are we sure? We got some more breaking news across the NFL. More guys going to different places. We'll give you an update on that. We'll also kind of give you a rundown of what the college basketball slate, what's important tonight. How does Nebraska affected? How can they potentially be affected by things happening tonight? How can Creighton, who's on the way to New York today to play the Big East tournament, look at some of the things, how are they going to pan out in the Big East tournament? We'll talk about that more and next coming up on 1620 The Zone.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, you want to go and see the Omaha Supernovas in action? 1620 The Zone's got you covered. Omaha Supernovas host the Indy Ignite on Saturday, March 14th, 7 p.m. at CHI Health Center in Omaha. Listen all week to the Happer and Schaefer Show for your chance to get into the chai. Also, Hardy is taking his country tour to the Metro, featuring special guests Cameron Whitcomb and McCoy Moore. Saturday, March 21st, we'll be giving out tickets throughout the week here on Middays with Matt. We'll give those out tomorrow. And Thursday as well. We're going to have a short show Thursday as well. 1 o'clock is when we'll end Middays with Matt, because Creighton basketball team will be playing in their, well, I guess it'll be the second round of the Big East tournament, but it'll be their first game because, DePaul, you losers, bunch of dummies, bunch of idiots. Mark Aguirre, no longer on that DePaul Blue Demon team. NJ Benson, though, pretty damn good player for the DePaul Blue Demons. Chris Holtman actually has them going in the right direction. But tomorrow will be the first game of the Big East tournament, where the number 5 seed, Creighton Blue Jays, nothing will happen on Wednesday that will affect Creighton. Okay, all the winners of those games on Wednesday will go ahead and play either St. John's, UConn, and Villanova. St. John's being the number 1 overall seed after UConn lost to Marquette. By the way, Bobby Hurley fired from Arizona State yesterday. It'd be incredible and probably the worst thing ever for Big East referees if Bobby Hurley ended up being an assistant coach on Dan Hurley's team. That would be awesome, though, from an entertainment perspective, if we can get those two on the same bench. But Creighton will take on Seton Hall at 2:30. That game will be here on 1620 The Zone. Tip-off will be actually, 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central Time is what you people care about. Pregame will begin here on The Zone at 1 o'clock. So Middays with Matt. We'll get off the air early. I will go right to the airport, as I will be at the Big Ten Conference Tournament starting on Friday, where we will do our show from the United Center. The Madhouse out of Madison will be home of Middays with Matt, talking about what is going on in the tournament. Our game, so let's actually see. So we'll be on the air at 10 o'clock. The game that will be going on Friday. So today the Big Ten tournament has begun. We'll begin actually at 3 o'clock between Maryland and Oregon, and then following that, Penn State will take on your Northwestern Wildcats. Then on Thursday, Nebraska will take on the winner of Purdue versus one of the 3 teams, Penn State, Northwestern, and Indiana. And then Nebraska will play their game on Friday at 5:30. Nebraska, we will be on the air during the 10 o'clock game, which will take place against Michigan and either Ohio State, Iowa, Maryland, or Oregon. So the Big Ten Player of the Year, Yaxel Lendenberg, will be playing while we are on the air. Isn't that something? Isn't that incredible? You'll be hearing the sights, sounds, and excitement of the United Center whilst we are on the air. We're also, for people who are going to the Big Ten tournament on Thursday, I'm going to give you a rundown of the UC. All right. I'm going to tell you where to go, where to eat, where to get your beers, what lines could go to. If you haven't bought tickets yet to the Big Ten tournament and you're thinking about going, I'm going to give you this tip right now. Don't buy 100 level seats. Hear me out. Go to the 200 level. Okay. At the United Center, the 200 level it's elevated, right? But it's actually kind of leaning over, like it's kind of balconied in a way. You're not too far away from the court. It's a smaller section, but you got some really good leg room. You're also it's a club area. That entire section, the entire 200 level section, is like the Lexus Club in a way, where you get specialty vendors, you get specialty places that you can eat, but you also still get access to the 100 level concourse and places to eat down there. If you get a 200 level seat at the United Center, you have access to all 3 levels in terms of eating. If you only buy a 100 level seat or a 300 level seat, you can't go into the 200 section. So if you're deciding between the 200 level or the 100 level when you're buying your tickets for this Big Ten tournament, I would suggest going for the 200 level because the amenities are better. You're not as close as the the 100 section, but you still get some really, really good views, especially if you're in the first 3 rows. There's also, I think on kind of the prime viewing, if you're like center court in the first couple of rows, you have menus and you have people who walk up to you and you can order as well. That's for Hawks games and Bulls games. I don't know if you're going to get the full 9 yards for the Big Ten tournament. I would assume so, but just a kind of trick of the trade. If you're deciding between the 100 level, 200 level, go to the 200 level. If you want anywhere to eat at the United Center, I'd always recommend going to that Goose Island bar, and they got a great deli over there too. We'll be giving you the full rundown though on Thursday, and I'll be taking you around the stadium on Friday. We'll do some social media stuff, so it should be a ton of fun. Middays with Matt going to be live from the Big Ten tournament on Friday. Can't wait to go home. Let's go and broadcast from a phenomenal arena in Chicago. Coming up next, we're going to give you a breakdown of what to watch tonight. There's already the Big 12 tournament happening between Baylor and Arizona State. We give you an update on that and our dog of the day coming up next on 1620.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt. I want to listen to sports radio. Matt McMaster, well, he's in the know. God, what a song. God, it was so good. We have the best song. By far. By the way, it took until 1:40 to get my Jacob Bigelow text of the day.
Hi, Biggie.
He just sends me a tweet, and then he makes fun of it. There's a hat that he found on Twitter that is just pizza being dipped into ranch. It's like a...
some AAA team one
the
day
Tulsa
this
Drillers.
year. Yeah, they're going to be the ranch dippers.
Yeah, they're just like
for a night.
it's like a little piece of pizza, and he's like jumping into a pool of ranch.
Yeah.
Biggie's caption is, has any hat been more Midwestern than this?
Nope.
Probably not. Probably not. What are we watching today, Josh Hudson?
We are watching 4 conference championship games. The first being in the Horizon, 6 o'clock on ESPN.
Yes.
Number 1 Wright State against number 3 Detroit Mercy. How'd they get there?
Well, they won yesterday as a
Wow.
plus 180 underdog. I wonder who had the foresight to see that they, with plus money, could end up winning that matchup. What very smart individual thought of that?
The CAA conference, I believe that's the Colonial. 6 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. It was you, Matt. Number 4 Monmouth, and number 3 Hofstra. I got this allergy thing. I can't.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I mean, that's a great excuse, and like you can just spin zone it into that's why you're bad. But like you can just don't worry. I believe. I believe you. Yeah, I believe you. I believe you. We totally make excuses here.
WCC Santa Clara against Gonzaga. Gonzaga making this game for the 29th consecutive year. 8 o'clock on ESPN, and the MAC. Number 1 Merrimack against number 3 Siena. 8 o'clock on ESPN2. NBA on NBC tonight. The 2 best teams in the league since January 1st hook up in Texas. It's the Celtics and the Spurs at 7 o'clock. And then we switch over to Peacock for a 10 o'clock tip between the Wolves and the Lakers. NHL doubleheader on TNT. Islanders Blues for some reason at 6:30.
What do you mean for some reason?
Why would the Islanders and the Blues be on national television?
It's a heated rivalry.
Careful. Oilers Avalanche after that at 9 o'clock. Baseball. The World Baseball Classic continues at 8 o'clock on Fox. 3-0. Team USA takes on 2-0. Team Italy. Team USA advances with a win. They can advance with a loss too, but then you get into math and run differential and just go ahead and win the game tonight. It'll be fine. And Creighton takes on number 13 LSU at the box, 6:30 on SEC Network Plus. I did my research. I'm pretty sure that's just ESPN Plus.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Great job. You're welcome, Josh. I did a great job there on what to watch. I appreciate it. Do you want to turn up the...
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I will blow this man.
How do we, here we go.
All right, folks, let's talk right now. I'm going to kill your bookmaker. I'm going to rip his throat out. I will blow this man out. I will step on his throat until the man chokes. Let me tell you how. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. I'm on a roll.
Dude, you got to love dogs.
We are on a roll. 1-0. I think this is when we start keeping track. You think?
When we get on a streak?
When we get on a streak? If I get today right, then we will start officially keeping track and we'll make it fast.
Okay.
Josh Hudson, what do you think is like the team that I bet the best? That I know them like the back of my hand. Not a lot of people know this team, but I know this team really well.
The Bulls?
The Northwestern Wildcats.
Okay, yeah, sure.
There is no way in hell they win today. This is classic Cats. All right? Put the graphic up. Classic Cats. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. They're favored. Big Ten tournament. They're in Chicago. There'll be like 18 people with a bunch of purple and white on. Nobody there is going to be rooting for Penn State. And yet Mike Rhodes and the boys are going to win that game. I'm telling you right now, take it to the bank. Platt Cat, take out your mortgage, put it on the Penn State. No, I'm kidding. Mike is going to lose his stuff. I'm kidding, Mike. Bet responsibly. All right? This is problem gambling awareness month. Bet responsibly. But tonight, I'm betting $10. Like I'm betting this. Penn State to beat the Cats.
Bet free Mike makes a good point in the chat. The Cats are dogs today.
No. The Cats are actually. Wait, if it's an underdog, like are you an over cat?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the underdogs are the Lions. The Lions are dogs.
Right.
The Nittany Lions are dogs. So let's go with Penn State plus 200 to beat the Cats money line in the Big Ten tournament. Hey, it's been Middays with Matt. Man, what a great show it was today. We had a lot of fun. I didn't complain about something. I'm going to complain about it tomorrow. I hate scooters, not the coffee shop.
Not the coffee shop.
You know what? Screw tomorrow. There is no tomorrow, as Apollo Creed would say.
I mean, you could probably talk about it in the crossover.
I'm going to complain about it in the crossover. That's what I'm going to do. Great offensive coordinating, Josh Hodgson. Like an old Dana Holgerson.
The good Dana Holgerson.
The young Dana Holgerson.
The good Dana Holgerson.
That was the young one. All right. The crossover of sportsmanlike conduct coming up next here on 1620 The Zone.